Right. Go live.
Go live.
And we are live. There we are.
Ah!
Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Steve.
Welcome to episode 137. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday night. If you've never seen the show before, this is our once weekly live show. We talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, entertainment, pop culture, sometimes a little Star Trek. We do drink beer on the show. And if you're drinking along with us, let me know what you're drinking in chat and we'll give some early show shout outs. Also, keep in mind that although we do drink alcohol on the show, we try to keep the show as family friendly in both language and content as possible. All super chats are read on the air, assuming they're appropriate. And don't be a jerk in chat. That's about it.
We're looking at you, Big Spoon.
Looking at you, Spoon. And my eyes on you. Welcome to the show, everyone. Steve, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. It's starting to clear up, getting better weather out here.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time in a long time where the sun came out. I think it's been, torrential downpours for like the last 4 or 5 days.
It's been a weird June because usually like by Memorial Day, it's pretty nice in Oregon. Yeah. You know, especially here in the Valley, it has been just torrential downpour for at least the last week where I'm at.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is like the first nice day we've had, I think, in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, no, it is. So I actually got out, celebrated, and got a haircut.
Nice.
I finally found a place that's open to give me a haircut.
I so need one.
Yeah.
It is beyond bad at this moment.
Yeah.
Let's see. New lighting, Jeff? No, I didn't get any new lighting. I did reconfigure it a little bit. So hopefully it's a little softer.
My lighting's horrible. I have like this track lighting up above me that are basically just 3 spotlights. So I have to finagle them to make it just not look like absolute horror show in here. I look like, got the deep shadows over my eyes. I got to move them all over the place to make it not look weird.
Sorry, I realized I didn't set the mood lighting behind me.
There you go. There you go.
I think we're going to go like a teal tonight. There we go.
I've been feeling tired.
Baby. All right. Let's get the show on the road. Steve, what are you drinking tonight?
Oh, well, I got, I don't know what I'm going to start out with, but here's my 3 options.
Let's get your rundown.
Okay, my rundown here. I have the Island Colada Cream Ale. It's got it's a cream ale with coconut and pineapple by Kona Brewing.
Ooh.
So this is hopefully this will be good. I don't know. Kona's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Commercial beer, but pretty decent. I got Spoonful of Sugar from Illuminated Brew Works. It's a double dry hopped double double IPA with lactose sugar. So it's double with lactose basically. Is it right here?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll just say interesting on that one.
I know. We'll see how this goes. And then this one I got. I'm pretty excited about this one. It's from Boulevard Brewing, Kansas City, and it's called Rye on Rye. It's a whiskey barrel aged rye beer with maple syrup.
Nice.
So it's going to be like whiskey and pancakes.
Excellent. That one sounds delicious. Let's see. I am drinking. I'm opening the first can from the Bite My Bits lawsuit. Finally, I've got a Wichita Brewing Showstopper Ale, English style pub ale. So it should be a nice light, 5%.
Yeah.
So hoping just for a decent little lager. I do have an interesting one that I'm opening here in a little bit. I left it in the fridge to get a little colder. I don't remember who brewed it, but it is a Koosh 420 wheat ale. And apparently it's a strain wheat ale, so we'll see how that one goes. And then for number 3, surprise. I'll surprise you.
Oh, yes, everybody in the chat is saying, Rye on Rye is fantastic.
Yeah.
Becky Poo, I guess she lives pretty close to Boulevard. And she's I guess it's pretty good stuff.
Nice.
So I got good positive things. And I also brought some sample glasses because my wife wants to try some of these beers too, so I have to siphon some of these off.
Yeah.
So she can try them later. So I don't get it all to myself, unfortunately.
No. All right, let's see. Who's drinking along with us in chat? Big Spoon, noticed your red shirt ale shirt.
Oh yes, my. There we go.
Yes, it's to die for. Let's see. Isaac's drinking a Monster Mule.
Oh, nice. Wait, a Monster Mule? Is that a beer or is that a cocktail?
Says 0% ABV, so whatever it is, it's non-alcoholic.
So probably ginger and a Monster energy drink.
That'd be my guess.
Okay.
Ginger ale and Monster.
Yeah. Okay.
Ginger beer and Monster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hitting it hard tonight. 7-Up from Patrick.
Okay. That is pretty hardcore.
Drinking a Francis counter. Wade. Drinking a wheat beer. Vice beer. Let's see. Toppling Goliath. King Sue. Double IPA. 7.8.
That's a good one.
Novella Hub. That's a very good one.
Yeah.
Had that one a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Hops and Brews. Yeah, you're all one to talk about haircuts. Tyler. Bell's Official. Hazy IPA. Reverend just killed a Bright from Brewery. And thought it was amazing for a 75 cal beer, and he's about to crack into a Hazer's Gonna Haze.
Hazer's Gonna Haze. I haven't heard of that one.
John Jay is drinking an Arrogant Bastard, and what's really funny is it filtered his because he wrote bastard in the.
Oh, it wouldn't let him. It wouldn't let him do it.
So I had to allow it. Yeah, pretty good selection out there tonight.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Let me go ahead and
Go
mine
Bells
poured here.
Go Bells and Oberon. Oh, yeah, that's right. I should probably open.
Yeah, you should probably crack yours open.
Yeah, I'm getting kind of thirsty. I got my Skull of My Enemy's mug.
Nailed it. Well, that is a beautiful color on that beer.
Now, did you go through John's tutorial of how to pour a beer correctly?
I don't know that I want to follow John's tutorial because, well, I'm usually better than he is at it.
You know, he had to take like 15 takes to get it right.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Just empty cans tossed.
Yeah, he's like, well, it was all PBR, right? So it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
He was down to his last can of PBR from this case of 24.
Record Needle. Hey guys, just noticed the newest video was for kids. LOL. Yeah, it's because my daughter was in it. And any video that YouTube has like two ways that they consider it for kids. Number one is my target audience is for kids. And so if I'm going, hey guys, today I'm going to make slime, that's a video for kids. The other option for kids is the video has a child actor in it. And my daughter is technically a child actor. She is on camera performing. Whatever the definition of performing is, she's on camera and she's being a personality on my show, which means she's performing. And by the way, she roped me into that last question about how impressed was I that she beat me at Art of Fighting. Completely roped me into that question. Anyway, YouTube does two things when you market for kids. Is they take away the targeted advertising that's in the video. And so instead of using their analytics and their Google Foo to figure out, hey, your advertisers really like X product, so we'll show you X product and you'll get more money. Instead, they just get random ads. And it also disables all comments. It disables all comments basically to protect the kids. And I am all in favor of that. The previous video my daughter was in also has the comments disabled, although I did that later on. All the comments were very pleasant, but why leave them open if there's really no reason for it? So she won't be on very often, but probably once a year I'd like to make a video with her because it's fun. So,
and when you put Rambo on there, it automatically turns the comments on.
Yes.
It's like you're gonna get cat comments. So
the kitty.
Yeah. They get a little cat icon with it.
Yep. But no, that was a heck of a lot of fun to shoot that video with her. And she did a lot of the construction herself. Obviously, I did everything with the saw and the Dremel, but she helped me do all the vinyl wrapping and the T-molding, and she helped me screw everything together and installed Windows and got everything up and running. And so, yeah, that was a lot of fun. But didn't make a lot of money from it.
Yeah, a tech channel that's got kid friendly. Yeah, it's not going to have too much on there.
Yep. And because I'm also a beer channel, I don't want to flirt with that line at all.
Not going to get too much crossover on that.
Right. And so this time around, I actually even changed the logo. And so that video was cat computing, not craft computing. So I changed the logo. There was no mention of beer anywhere in it. Although we did do the soda review at the end. We still went through. And my favorite thing from that was I said, I was trying to get her to like say, what flavor do you like? Because we were trying a root beer. And she goes, I really like the smell and the taste. I said, oh, so it has really good aromatics.
Root beer does have pretty good aromatics, to be fair.
Yeah.
I can see this pairing well with some ice cream, maybe some pizza.
That's right. Civil, and actually, a 19-inch is perfect. I actually used a 19-inch in that kit. I misspoke in the video. I think I said 17-inch in the video, but no, that's a Dell 19-inch. I can give you the exact model number that I used. But
that was a 5:4 aspect ratio. In fact, we were talking about that, how that 5:4 monitors are kind of hard to find.
Yeah.
Those aspect ratio monitors, because everything's widescreen now. Nope.
Yeah. So you can use widescreen monitors, but every game that you play on an arcade machine is going to be cropped either horizontally or vertically, and I'd prefer only my vertical games to be cropped.
Exactly.
Playing some classic arcade games on there, like Metal Slug in a full 19-inch screen when you're a foot and a half from it.
That's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Yep. Did you kick your butt bad or just a little bit? She legit won the first time. Now I was kind of going easy on her, but at the same time, she also just button mashed the heck out of me.
Yeah,
legit just beat me.
That's the thing with those fighting games is button mashers. If you're not paying attention, button mashers can beat you pretty good.
Button mashers can get you, and she got me.
Yeah.
And now I went 7-1 against her, so I won the next 7 because it's like you get popped in the mouth. No. Not to make a joke about
she
that.
Literally beat you.
But the first one she literally beat me, and it's like, all right, kid.
Yeah, no, I do that when I play like somebody Street Fighter for the first time. I was like, you know what? I'll pick Zangief.
Yeah.
And then they'll beat me. He's like, oh, all right, I'll pick Ryu now. Or Ken.
All right, I'm going Dalcy. Well, let's do this. Exactly. All right. Let's go ahead and get into some news here.
Let's do it.
So where are we starting at? There we go. Starting with the Internet Archive. Steve, are you familiar with the Internet Archive?
I am down with the Internet Archive. I am familiar with it. Yes, I know about it. I did not know about the book thing though. That was new to me. I didn't know that was an offshoot of it.
Yeah. No, I knew they'd been doing some books, but this one is a little bit different offshoot of the standard book. So this ebook program was specifically in response to COVID. It was the libraries across the country are closed. Let's go ahead and make books digitally available so people can check them out. And so they basically spun up a library to make books and other educational content available for everyone who couldn't get to a library. Now, the publishers were not down with that.
And, can't imagine why.
And sued them almost immediately. Now, the Internet Archive, to their credit, or so to speak, where's my screen? There it is. That was weird. The Internet Archive, they said, we're going to run this program March 15th through June 30th because we expect, libraries to be back open by June 30th. And so we'll kind of see how this goes. But, we want to do something to help out people who may not have access to information. And so they made 1.3 million books available free of charge. Now, you had to check them out, and it did work as a library system where if someone is checking out a book, you can't view it until they check it back in. And you have 5 days with it, kind of thing. The problem is book publishers often charge licensing and rental agreement fees so they can make money if you're renting a book. And libraries have to pay these fees to publishers and book companies in order to have the rights to check them out to people. Internet Archive didn't pay any such licensing fees.
Nope.
So unfortunately, Internet Archive was completely in the wrong in this particular case. But which is a little unfortunate because I love the Internet Archive, and I hate to see them run afoul of any legality when they do provide a pretty excellent service. In fact, I was on there finding some old PC programs the other day. I finally found TabWorks, which I've been looking for years and years.
Oh my gosh, the old TabWorks, huh?
Yes, I find. Yeah, Internet Archive had a download for TabWorks, and it was in English, not French. So I'm so excited because TabWorks came on my first 486 PC, and so I've been wanting to find it for so long and not have to learn French.
Yeah, they had a lot of just weird shells back in the old Windows 3.1.1 days.
Yep. Yeah. So this was 3.1.1, and instead of running Program Manager, it ran TabWorks.
Yeah.
And so it literally looked like a book binder with tabs on them, and you would import all your programs into that. And yeah.
Yeah, I remember one that kind of looked like
it was hokey as hell. But, but it's so nostalgic for me.
There was a few of them that were hokey. There was that one that looked like bookshelves. Mm-hmm. It looked like a bookshelf and a literal desktop. There's like bookshelves up there, and you can launch stuff from there.
Yeah.
It was like.
So yeah, I use the Internet Archive quite a bit looking for old stuff like that. Yeah, so unfortunately it was, they did run afoul of some people, and in response they said, we're going to cut it 15 days early. We're going to stop it on June 15th instead of June 30th. Drop the lawsuit. We're fine. We learned our lesson kind of thing. But speaking of this, I also wish the publishers were a little bit more willing to play ball in this situation. Now they have every right to come down and to sue the Internet Archive for not paying the licensing fees and whatnot. There's legal and use cases that go into, not just ownership of the books, but rights to be able to check them out. It's the same for rental companies for like DVDs and things like that. Redbox pays licensing fees to all the movie publishers to be able to rent those out. They don't just go and buy the disc from Walmart and then rent them. You have to have a license to be able to do that.
To distribute. Yeah.
Right.
This is definitely a case where they decided to ask for forgiveness instead of permission. And just went ahead and did it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did post a legal defense, but they knew it was probably not going to get the job done, in which they said, well, tens of thousands of people have reached out to us and thanked us for starting the service up, and it was vital for the education community in this really difficult time. And we're actually quoted in a couple different places of like they helped us out and gave manuals and medical documentation to people who needed it and whatnot. But at the same time, you still broke the rules. So unfortunate, but
kind of predictable.
Kind of predictable, but hopefully something better can come out of this in the future. Maybe they can start talking to each other and get something like this established outside of just the local library system.
Yeah. I wonder if somebody got in there and just like found some way to just rip everything down and throw it into a torrent somewhere.
Right. Yep. All right. Moving on. We got some SpaceX news.
SpaceX.
A little bit of SpaceX. Yeah.
X.
No, that flight got canceled.
What?
SpaceX XX.
Oh, SpaceX. I was
trying. Remember they were gonna go up into space, and then they ended up not.
Yeah. I was trying to do the echo. I didn't get the triple X.
Sorry, family friendly.
Yeah, I know. It's a new Vin Diesel movie. Not
the new Triple X.
Wink,
they were going to fly up into space with two famous actors, and they ended up not flying into space with two famous actors. Anyway, SpaceX, not their private venture with NASA, but their commercial venture with Starlink is in the news a little bit this week. Mm-hmm. Now, we all saw the main Dragon X launch of the manned mission that went to the ISS, and we all watched the docking. Well, a couple days later, they also launched another Dragon X capsule, which held, I think, 250 satellites or something like that.
Wait, we watched the docking? Maybe we were watching the XXX.
Steve. Moving on. Next story. Anyway, so we watched the ISS doc, and then a couple days later, they actually launched another Dragon X, which was carrying about 250 Starlink satellites, and those launched successfully into orbit. Now, Starlink, for those who don't know, is SpaceX's endeavor to bring basically the globe wireless internet. It's a very ambitious project, but what they're hoping to do is break up not only a lot of the monopolies that are within the United States as far as, terrestrial carriers, your traditional DSL, fiber, cable, etc., but also bring internet to any place the satellites can see. Mm-hmm. So bring infrastructure where it wasn't previously possible and literally have service everywhere.
If this does prove successful, though, you know what that's going to do? It's going to change the script to every single movie that going forward.
Yeah.
Because all the time they're like, every time the protagonist is like out in the middle of nowhere, like, oh, I don't have signal. I don't have signal.
Yeah.
They can't do that anymore.
Well, already something like 70% of movies could be explained away with, hold on, let me Google that.
Yeah, no, I know, exactly. No. A lot of movies are also the same way. So why don't you just wait 30 seconds and let them finish explaining what they're talking about instead of storming off in a huff or something stupid like that. I hate movies with devices like that. It pisses me off. Anyway.
Or the classic Bond trope of, well, Mr. Bond, now that I have you tied up, let me tell you my grand plan so you can stop me in another 20 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. I'm going to kill you and crap.
Oh, I guess there was something you can do.
Oh, dang it. Yeah. Anyway, so this is their third such launch of these satellites, so they have quite a few in orbit already. But there's a little bit of news based on funding from the FCC, and that is that Starlink has applied to receive funding for this program from the Federal Communication Commission. And the FCC has responded and said you have 30 days to prove your system works. That low latency internet can be possible with your satellite network. Otherwise, they will lose the top tier of funding. And I'm assuming the FCC is just going to give it to the cable and fiber provider so they can run not more fiber again. If
I'm going to go back, I'm going to go back to the Screenwriters Guild is behind it, not the cable company. The Screenwriters Guild is putting pressure behind the FCC because they want to keep their hackneyed tropes in the movie. Yeah. They don't want to have to think when they write.
Right.
They don't want to have to think. They're sitting there and they have their 3 martini lunches and go back and take a nap and crank out some schlock before they go home. That's what they want to do. They don't want to have to think about stuff now.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's a we'll just call it a constrained timeline to prove that this can actually work. I've said multiple times, if they open any kind of beta test, I'm on board. I want to do this.
I'd like to try, because the whole thing with satellite was, why I've always shied away from it was the high latency.
Right.
The latency's always been really bad. And if they're saying that they got low latency worldwide internet, that sounds real promising.
Right.
So
yeah, it should be, they're aiming for worldwide coverage. Yeah. And you still have to have line of sight, so it won't work with within buildings or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it won't work if you're in these, horrible valleys and don't have just like satellite TV. Although it's going to be a much larger network than satellite TV, and so there's likely more spots that you can point out in the sky. It's not just you have to have a view of the southern sky. Maybe it's you have 3 different locations that you can point at. But very, very promising. They're promising it's going to be affordable, which we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Affordable is a relative metric.
Is it affordable to Elon Musk? Because that's not going to be affordable to me.
And he goes, it didn't cost me anything to launch 375 satellites by myself.
Yeah.
Now I have internet anywhere I go.
I did it for me, not for you guys.
Right. How's your beer?
Actually, it's really good. I can taste the coconut, and I can taste the pineapple, and that's, I mean,
That's impressive.
when they put that on the, that's one of the things I look for when they actually put
Right.
that description on the can. It's bonus points if I can actually taste it.
Yeah.
So that part's positive. It is a cream ale, and I kind of expect it to have a little more smoother mouthfeel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting that. It's almost kind of like a dry, but that's like nitpicky right there. It's really tasty actually.
Right.
If you can find this I would highly recommend. It's very tropically.
Yep.
It's like a little beercation in your mouth.
Nice. Yeah. In the was going to be the next video, but I had a part that's held me up. Well, two parts that have held me up. But I did a review of the El Jefe, the coconut hef.
Oh yeah,
that John reviewed.
yeah.
Unlike John, I actually did get just a
Tinge of coconut in there.
of coconut.
Yeah.
And it was like 30 seconds after the beer was no longer in your mouth.
Yeah.
If you sit there and wait, you kind of go, did I eat a Mounds like yesterday?
Yeah. There's just enough residual there. There's like, I think that coconut I had last week is still stuck in my teeth somewhere.
Right. Like I got a little
tinge of it. Yeah.
Little thing stuck between my teeth. Exactly. Yeah. It was just enough.
Yep.
But no, this one, the showstopper, English style pub ale.
Yep.
Very much like a brown ale. Very, very good. Very, very malty. Real thick bodied, only 5%. It tastes like a much bigger beer than it is. Which is something I love about this style beer, and this one does it right. A lot of times you get, an Americanized English style pub beer or, English style lager or something like that.
Yeah.
And it tastes like a domestic lager or a pilsner, where it's just thin and ricey and kind of this is the real
This is the real deal.
Yeah.
It tastes like you're going to an English pub and asking for a bitters or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very much in that ESB kind of mouth feel.
I love ESBs.
Yeah, no,
they don't make enough of them. They don't make enough good ESBs.
I agree. Yep. Oh yeah, I'm loving that. All right. What else do we have to talk about here? Want to get into RTX talk?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. So we had a little bit of details on the RTX 3000 series cooler that was supposedly leaked and then pretty much confirmed to be accurate. We have a little bit more information about not only the cooler now, but possibly the design of the card. The card design is very unique. And for those who haven't seen it, I'll show you right up here.
Yep.
It's this guy right up here at the top. So there's actually two fans on it, but they're on opposite sides of the card. There's one on the bottom that sucks air in. It travels the length of the card, and then there's another fan that pushes the air out the top towards your CPU, which actually makes great sense for a design standpoint, because in most cases, it's going to exhaust it right up to that 120 mil fan that's on the back of your case and shoot it straight out the back.
Yep.
And exhaust all that hot air along with your CPU hot air. I like the design, but it raised questions on why are they doing it that way? Is there a specific reason for it? Well, there actually may be a very good reason for it, and it has to do with RTX. So with the Turing-based cores, they took basically the Turing CUDA cores, and then they stuck some tensor cores on it, and then they stuck some other tensor cores, and then redid the algorithm slightly and called them ray tracing cores. And then they made up a metric for how fast ray traces could be traced. And they said, this one does 20 gigarrays, and this one does 30 gigarrays, and this one does 40 gigarrays. Everyone remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Of course you do, because they said it in 4 straight press conferences as if it was the first time you'd ever heard it.
The universal unit of measure of gigarrays.
Of gigarrays,
that everybody knows. How many gigarrays to the gallon does your car get?
Exactly. People are wondering about my lip. Yeah. So my dog Ruby, she's about 60 pounds. She's an Australian Shepherd and Terrier mix. We're pretty sure she's a boxer mix. So she's thick. We'll say she's about 60 pounds. She ran down the stairs to our landing yesterday by the front door, and she was barking out the door at a squirrel. There was a little gray squirrel who's been trying to make a nest up in the above our entryway there. And he was just hopping out in the yard and whatnot. Well, Ruby is a staunch defender of my home. She will go to battle.
Yeah.
So I walked over to her and I'm like petting her and going, oh, you see the squirrel? Do you want to go get the squirrel? You know, kind of thing. And she jumps up and she catches me right here and pushed my jaw into my tooth so hard, my tooth dug into my lip and took a chunk of it out. And so it actually looks a world better today than it did yesterday. And this was just 24 hours ago. It was like 7:30 yesterday evening. But I knew instantly that I had either bit into my lip or bit through my lip, because I've done that once before. I actually have a scar right below that from the same tooth where I actually bit a hole straight through my lip, just below it. So I know that feeling, I know that pain, and I knew exactly what it happened the second it did. And so I'm leaning against the wall and I'm holding my mouth like this, and I look down and there's just a pool of blood in my hand, and oh God, how bad is it? And so I'm running to the bathroom and whatnot, and it turns out it's only about 3/4 of an inch, but it's all jagged and gnarly looking, and yeah, there's a pretty good section missing from the top of my lip.
Going like this all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you sure that your dog didn't mistake your mustache for the squirrel?
I'm positive. Yeah. No, it wasn't a bite. It was the back of her head. It was the back of her skull to the bottom of my jaw.
Well, it's like a peripheral vision. She's like, oh, there's a squirrel too. And she's like jumped up. Yeah.
But no, it's
it's pretty gnarly looking.
It's a pretty good mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was concern for my wife that I might have to go in and get stitches, and I'm like, I'm not going to get my lip stitched right now. It's fine. I just won't talk for the rest of the night. And she goes, all right.
Yeah. Bonus.
But today it's sealed right up just fine. You know, I've been putting Neosporin on it every couple of hours, trying to, make sure, number one, it's clean because your mouth is freaking dirty, and number two, that it's gonna heal as quickly as possible.
Getting the extra glossy cherry flavored lip gloss all over it.
Yes, just that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Exactly.
Dancing in front of a mirror to Goodbye Horses. Dun, 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 dun. No.
I'm sexy and I know it. Great, there's a t-shirt idea.
Oh yeah. It's gonna give Jason ideas.
Oh God. Oh man. Anyway, back to the RTX 3.
Oh, back to the RTX. Yep.
So there was a lot of question about why they were possibly making this design. And for people asking, it's a push-pull, but it's not like you're thinking a push-pull where it's like two fans stacked on top of each other. There's a fan on the rear end of the card, and there's a fan on the front end of the card. And so they're sitting like this. This one is pushing in, and this one is blowing out, but they're on opposite sides of the card. So the thought is it's going to suck in from one end, blow across the PCB, and then exhaust out the top. So that's the working theory that everyone's going on. But even more than that, there's a theory about why they went this route. And it has, as I said, it has to do with RTX. So the Turing core, which was on the RTX 2000 series cards, has a bunch of CUDA cores with a stack of tensor cores and a stack of what they call ray tracing cores, which are likely just modified tensor cores. And that was all on one die, and it's a very, very large GPU die. And the thing about GPU dies is you have to bin them. You have to say, how good is this? How many cores can I leave enabled? So, can I have 2500? Okay, that's an RTX 2070. Okay, do I have 3500? Okay, that's an RTX 3080 or 2080. The problem is you also have to bin the tensor cores, and you also have to bin the ray tracing cores. And if those are screwed up, you don't get to use the die in the same card. And so you end up with a situation where, okay, we have an RTX 2080 capable CUDA core section of this chip, but the ray tracing cores aren't stable, so we have to disable half of them. What do we do with that? And NVIDIA actually found a way to do that, and they're selling the higher end cores as the RTX 2060 KO, which is a stripped down 2080 die, because they had a bunch of extra dies, and they said, well, what do we do with them? We have to sell them as a lower card. But that's the main problem, is their waste was very, very high for this. And that's part of the reason why pricing didn't go down, and in fact went up this generation for equivalent hardware, is because there's a lot of things to go wrong there. The new thought is that with Ampere, there's going to be 2 separate processors on the card. One of them is going to be your traditional CUDA cores using the Ampere architecture. The other is going to be what they call a Traversal Co-processor, which will handle your ray tracing and possibly tensor duties, although who knows if it's going to have tensor on it still, or if it's just going to be all ray tracing. Because tensor is used for machine learning, and it's traditionally a product of CUDA, or a product of the Quadro and Workstation and Enterprise series cards. So if we still get tensor cores on the consumer market, I think a lot of people will be happy because it has been a cheap way to get tensor cores, but neither here nor there. Says I may need to adjust my mic settings, getting a lot of clipping. Okay, I'll try turning it down a little bit. It says I'm peaking at -9, but we'll see. Don't know. I also have RTX voice on. Maybe that
could be it.
That might be messing with it. You know what? I'll just go ahead and turn RTX voice off.
You need that co-processor on there to kind of smooth it all out for you.
Yeah, I'll turn that co-processor off. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, let's try that. I was having problems with RTX voice earlier, but I'll get into that later in the show maybe. Anyway, so the thought is that now we're going to have our CUDA cores on one chip and ray tracing on the other. And the ray tracing cores are going to be on the back side of the PCB. Well, we need to get airflow over both the regular cores and over the ray tracing cores. So why don't we suck air in on one side of the card, blow it across the top and bottom of the PCB, and then exhaust it out the top.
At the top, yeah.
Out the back and top of the card. And so this all looks theoretically possible, but why are they saying, well, I think this is the way they're going to go? It's because NVIDIA patented this exact system in 2018. And so given about 2 years, it's pretty feasible that this is what's going to happen, is they are coming out with a coprocessor which will be the ray tracing functionality of the card. It will be on a separate die. The upside to that is now you need to bin your CUDA cores on your main GPU die, and then you have a second die which you can bin your ray tracing cores. And so that eliminates virtually all of your waste that you would get from fab and manufacturing. And so if you don't have a good RTX or a good enough RTX chip to go on a 3080, guess what? You can put it on a 3070 because that one doesn't need as many cores to be active. And instead of throwing the whole die away, you just reduce the size or reduce the number of ray tracing cores that are on it. So that totally works. Do you guys think I should sell my Titan RTX to go for a 3090 RTX? I think we should figure out what cards exist first and then wait for benchmarks.
Yeah, always wait for benchmarks. And the thing is like they haven't done daughter cards like this for a while, and we were just talking about this before the show, and I think the last one we think of was the PhysX, right? Was the last one. Because like there's always like bus speed problems with these things sometimes. It could go either way. I don't. Also, we like you said, wait for benchmarks, wait for final designs and stuff like that, and then one generation later, they could completely abandon it. Who knows? So, I don't know. We'll wait and see. But it is an interesting idea. It looks like that there's not like a because like in traditional daughter cards, they usually had like a cable that went from one to the other, kind of like how it nice to go. Yeah. This doesn't look like that. This looks like a actual connector on the top and the bottoms of those two cards that kind of snap together is what it kind of looks like.
Well, that's all in theory, but no, this is going to be a double-sided PCB. There's going to be one die on the top of it and one die on the bottom of it. And so it's going to be a single card. It's not.
Oh, so it's still going to be a single card. It's not going to be. But it doesn't.
A single card, but separate dies. So think of like a dual GPU die.
Right. You know. Right. No, I know.
Like this guy right above my head.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. But they seem to be hinting that they can be disconnected and.
They're also hinting that they can be disconnected because if it's a separate die, why wouldn't you just throw it onto another card? And maybe you can only buy the ray tracing if you want the ray tracing in some circumstances. So that might be a thing as well. You know,
it might be.
You can buy a single RTX 3080 and game, or 3090 or whatever the card names are going to be. Or maybe you can buy a GTX 3080 that doesn't have ray tracing on it because
you don't want it because like
the,
there's like
the ray tracing cores aren't there.
There's like 4 games out there that have it. You know?
Right.
Who knows?
Or let's say you buy a GTX 2660 Ti or whatever the bloody hell naming scheme they're going to come up with next. Let's say you buy the non-RTX enabled card that comes out next, and then you want to add ray tracing to it later on. You actually might be able to, because if ray tracing is just a separate die, there's no reason they couldn't slap it onto another card, and you could throw a daughter card into your system.
Yeah.
So
maybe what it is, but yeah, I mean it's
a lot of possibilities.
A lot of possibilities here. Although the pictures that they have in here, not as sexy looking as the 2000 series RTX.
Well, this is all speculation.
Yes, I know it's all speculation. Yeah. I know.
Although the render at the top is pretty darn accurate.
You think so?
As far as because we've seen the cooler. We know what it looks like, and we know what it looks like strapped onto the board. What we don't know is what the PCB looks like. However, we have pretty good guesses because we've seen all the parts of the cooler, and you can extrapolate what the PCB is going to look like and where the major components go. Like if there's a big square missing in the middle of your heatsink, guess what? That's probably where the GPU die is going to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the interesting architecture potential for Ampere. All of this is kind of, it's speculative, but it's speculative based on a video that was published by Cortex, and I guess he has had accurate information in the past. Very accurate information leading up to GPU launches. And so it's speculation with a reliable source. How's that?
It's expert speculation. It's the technological soothsayer.
Right.
Yes.
Yep. So, yeah, interesting times. What I'm interested in is, can I get an RTX card just like the RTX die and then add it to any graphics card? Could I pair it with a 1070, for example?
Yeah. Or a current that has, can I increase,
or an AMD card?
Yeah. Can I increase the ray tracing capacity of
the ray tracing capacity
of my current?
Right.
Yeah. That would be interesting to know.
Yep. Because there's been 2 major Achilles heels of ray tracing. Number 1, no one uses it. Number 2, the games that use it don't use it fully, and it's incredibly taxing on your system.
Very expensive.
And it's barely playable at 1080p.
Although I have been playing a little bit RTX with Minecraft, the beta on Minecraft, and that's actually, it's pretty impressive if you know what you're looking out for. I mean, if you're just looking at it, it looks like a really nice shader. Like they used to have the really nice shaders out for Minecraft for the Java version. The actual RTX one looks like that on the surface, but when you actually get into the lighting and the shadows and some of the reflections and stuff like that, it actually looks really, really cool. I mean, you can walk up to glass and see your own reflection and stuff like that. Something that you don't see in the shaders. You have like, your light bouncing through a colored piece of glass, and it, refracts the light, the colored lighting through it. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And the performance at 1440p 2070, I'm getting between 45 to 50 frames per second. Not bad. Not great, but not bad.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I've played around with a couple ray tracing games. I do want to try Metro Exodus again because I haven't tried that since the RTX demo.
Yep.
And I saw that was part of one of the more recent Humble bundles, so I think I'm gonna probably pick that up.
Oh, was it?
It was either Humble or someone had Metro Exodus on a deal.
I think
as a bundle package.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Humble Bundle or Good Old Games or someone had it as a package somewhere.
I think it might have been Humble Bundle. Actually, I think you might be right. I don't think it was the latest one, but I think it was last. It wasn't the Humble Choice.
No. What's the Fight for Racial Justice bundle? I think that had Exodus.
I thought that was like a $30 bundle, and you got a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's not in there. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, it's not in that one. Yeah, because I remember looking at that one. I'm just like, I got most of that stuff. Not Max Extravaganza.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
It was somewhere. I remember
yeah.
going, "Oh, that might be worth it." I still don't want to spend $30 right now.
You probably missed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was something.
Okay, it was something.
So, yeah. Interesting times for NVIDIA. I'm definitely curious to see what's announced, when it's announced, and see if any of this is correct. And I love the comments. LOL, expert speculator is the job that I want.
Yeah, I know. It's like I always said, like the weatherman, being a weatherman is like the best job ever. You can be incorrect for months on end.
Yeah.
You'll still retain your job.
Yep.
You could screw up. Just be like, yeah, it's gonna be sunny today. Downpour. And you're like, well, you know what? You can still keep your job.
Was it the itch.io bundle? No, it wasn't that one because I bought that one. And itch.io was a lot of indie games. It wasn't anything from major publishers. Although there were a couple games that have been like bigger names. There was what was that? The Catastrophe or whatever. The be a cat and be a jerk, knock things off shelves. And there were a couple other like more popular games like that. But no, it wasn't in the itch.io bundle.
It was Metro Exodus, or was it
Metro Exodus? Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't say. I'm looking on isthereanydeal.com, and all I see is the Metro franchise bundle on GOG as a recent bundle.
Thank you, Civil, in the Discord. Thank you.
Oh.
Oy.
That's good.
Expert speculator. That's basically what I call Wednesday. I don't have to be right. I just have to be entertaining. That's all it is.
Exactly.
All right. Moving right along here. What else we got?
We got
AMD news.
Yeah, AMD news. That's right.
AMD dropped some new SKUs on us.
That's right.
3600, 3800, and 3900 XT variants of
Yes.
the CPUs.
It's always nice when they add another letter at the end of everything.
Yes. Well, we already had the 3600 and the 3600X. Now we have the 3600 XT. We already had the 3800X. Now we have the XT. And we already had the 3900X. Now we have the 3900 XT. And these are basically the same exact chips as they were before. They get about 1 to 200 megahertz more boost clock than the non-T variant chips. And they all cost about $50 more. Or more than that in the case of the 3600, which jumps from you can get it for like $179 up to $249, so it's $70 more for 200 megahertz. It's like,
yeah,
that was already faster than an 8700K overclocked, so I don't know if it would be worth it.
The T at the end is actually because it's sponsored by Mr. T.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is. If you didn't know that little factoid.
Pity the fool by Intel.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. The marketing just writes itself at that point.
Yeah, so American Cosworth, so a better bend Ryzen. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, a better bend, yeah.
This launch is kind of a but at the same time, in some benchmarks, Intel was still a little bit competitive. Now they're probably not.
Yeah.
And it only takes a couple hundred megahertz to do that.
And for only $50 more. So
right. So if you're looking for the best of the best, or you're looking for like super high frame rate, gaming or things like that, these do make a compelling argument. The one thing that Intel's been able to hold out for a long time is, well, our single threaded is still better. Well, as of Zen 2, it's really not. Mm-hmm. And if anything, it's 1 to 2% better, but less efficient by a long shot. Mr. 95 watt 9900K, yeah, BS. 215 watts when you're under full boost. Mm-hmm. Not to mention overclocked at like 5.1 or something like that, drawing 330. But yeah, so they're definitely less efficient, but if AMD is going to come out with a higher clocked chip and they're not going to charge this massive premium, you know, it's not a $100 to $200 premium, which has been Intel's trick for the last couple of years.
Yes.
You know, I'm not going to fault them for that. And there is a use case for that, because if you are a gamer who wants, you know, 144 or 240 FPS gaming at 1080p, this might be the chip that makes or breaks that goal for you.
Yeah.
Whereas before you were limited. Now you can go up that extra 5-10% and I maybe actually make that goal. So
yeah.
You know, especially now that we've seen 240 hertz monitors and 360 hertz monitors, and Steve will attest, there's a difference.
There is a difference. I didn't think there was going to be, but I was amazed that I actually noticed a huge difference.
I didn't think there'd even be one between 144 and 240, and that was clear as day.
Yeah.
And then it was even more clear as day going to 360. It was insane.
Yeah.
And numbers bore that out when we went through some of their live tests. There were some reaction and tracking based testing inside of CSGO.
Yeah.
And both Steve and I scored probably 30% better.
Oh yeah, way better.
Yeah, it was. In fact, there was one test which was a guy who was just walking between two doors, and it was a random timing. And Linus actually did this test when they tested multi-frame gaming or frame rate gaming on the slow motion camera. They set up this exact same scenario.
It's the doorway in Oasis and CS:GO.
Yes, exactly. It's the two wooden doors and a guy runs on the other side.
Yeah.
So that's the scenario we tested, and you have something like, what was it, 70 milliseconds to pull the trigger or something like that. I mean, it's not a wide gap at all. Something between like a 70 and 100 milliseconds is all you have to pull the trigger and get a hit. And so you're looking through the scope of the sniper rifle, and at the 60 hertz monitor, I think I hit him 2 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
On the 144 hertz monitor, I think I hit him 6 out of 10. On the 360 hertz monitor, I think I did 8 in a row and 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
It was
a
insane.
night and day difference. Yeah. It was a huge difference. It's like, how can I even play this at 60 hertz anymore? This is ridiculous.
Right.
And I went home and bought 144 hertz monitors.
Yeah, I've got a pair of 144s now.
Yeah.
And it.
Dust,
there is
Dust
something
2,
to
Dust
it.
2, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Dust 2.
For Twitch and competitive gamers, it does something. I will say I'm still fine playing, you know, Red Dead Redemption 2 at 4K at, you know, 45 to 60 FPS. I'm not picky when it comes to that, because that's not a Twitch shooter. That's not something I'm, you know, life and death competitiveness with. It's like, I died. Oh well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm playing that one for fun. And I don't mind it, but in the competitive atmosphere, it makes a difference.
You know, there's several times where I play, even because casual. We're all casual players here. We're not professional players.
Right.
There's there's plenty of times where you were like, I know I got the drop on that guy. You're like, I know. And it's like, well, I've been playing on a 60 hertz monitor. And, you know, who knows? Maybe I didn't. You know, after doing that test, I'm like, maybe it was maybe I just wasn't seeing it. That's what it was. It's a hardware issue. It's not me. I don't suck. I just need better hardware. Oh yeah, people in the YouTube chat who are not members of the Discord chat, you're missing a whole other
thing going on in the Discord.
Yeah, because basically we chat on the Discord and on the YouTube at the same time. But the nice thing about Discord, which you can't do on YouTube, is you can post pictures and you can post GIFs, and it kind of amps up the conversation a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm almost done with my beer. I don't know where you're at, but
I'm right there.
Yeah,
so.
I think you can't see mine, but yeah, believe me, I'm almost to the bottom of the skull there.
Yes, believe me, it's there.
Yeah. Oh, that was it. All right, I'm gonna do some spoonful of sugar.
Well, I'll give you the stage while I go get my other beer.
Okay. Well, I'm going to save the Ryan Rye to last because that's a big boy. That's a 13%. So unless everybody wants to see me get smashed on camera, I'm going to save it for last. And this is looking pretty good. If you guys can see that, it's kind of a hazy. Oh, and I guess I got to save some for my wife too.
Yeah. Yeah, don't
Can't
forget that.
Yeah.
How do I join the Discord? Join the Patreon. Link is down in the video description, and Skull was actually just nice enough to post it in the chat as well.
There he is. Yep, there he goes.
Yeah, minimum donation of $1 per month, although you can certainly donate more if you'd like. But $1 per month gets you access to the Discord. The reason I do that is so you get a sense of ownership of the Discord, and you have more incentive to follow the rules and not get kicked out, which makes it a much better community for everyone.
Yes.
So, and let me tell you, and this is not just me speaking, this is one of the best Discords I've ever been involved with. And I am so proud that this is my Discord. The amount of conversation that happens in there on a daily basis is overwhelming at times. And good conversation, or meme wars, or people helping people out, or this or that. It's an insanely cool group of people. It's a great community. If you want to help support the channel, if you want to help me keep my lights on and, have the opportunity to talk with me, Steve, John, Rhett, the whole crew, and join the community over there, go click on the Patreon link. The way my Patreon works is I charge per video, but you can set a $1 donation and you can set a $1 monthly max. So I will charge you for the first video of every month and then won't charge you again. Or you can donate more if you'd like. And I certainly appreciate that as well. So...
Someone's asking in the Discord if we play the Forest. We did play the Forest before, actually. There was a couple times, I forget who we played with, but we played the Forest quite a bit. It was kind of fun.
Yeah.
We made lots of severed head effigies all over our camp. It was pretty good.
Craft computing making me blush. Oh, thank you, Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I'm wearing my my Hammer-On box shirt.
Nice.
So for those who don't know, that was an inside joke with Hardware Unboxed, where the YouTube auto caption likes to butcher the name of his channel all the time. And one of the times it came up and said, welcome back to Hammer-On Box. And so they made a Hammer-On Box logo. And I bought the shirt because it's a really cool shirt.
Funny, yeah. Oh, man. Wow. This isn't the best IPA I've ever had, Spoonful of Sugar, but it's definitely double dry hopped. You can taste that. If you've ever done home brewing and you did freeze dried hops or something for your beer, and you just
cryo hop kind of thing.
When you just open that thing up and take a big whiff, this is basically what this smells like.
Really?
It smells like a ton of hops in this thing, and it tastes like it too. But it's got, because of all the lactose sugar they put in here, it has a sweet finish, so it's not like super bitter. There's like a sweetness at the end.
Hey, he joined and he's on. Join us down in the Talking Heads channel.
There he is.
All right. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and open mine right now. So mine is another donation from Jason over there at Bite My Bits, or donation, sorry, lawsuit settlement from Jason over there at Bite My Bits. This is from Sweetwater Brewing. It is the 420 strain Mango Kush Wheat Ale.
Oh wow, yeah, Sweetwater.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be because there's no real
malt beverage with natural hemp flavor contains no hemp, so it's not actually hemp.
Yeah.
It's not actually an infused beverage, and it's still only 5%.
Yeah. But it's going to be super dank, I'm sure.
Yes.
I mean, they wouldn't call it that. Oh, here she is. Here you go.
At least I hope it's super dank, because we have some super dank IPAs here in Oregon, and I've been disappointed by ones that go like super hop flavor and
yeah.
And you're like, that's just a basic pale.
Yeah, I know. I get that until the
I don't know that I like that.
Oh, is it too much?
Oh dear God. It's dank.
Yeah, okay.
Let me say that. Wow.
Oh yeah. I guess yours is probably danker than mine. I thought mine was super hoppy.
Wow.
So it's not a hazy.
Not a hazy. No, super clear.
Yeah.
Really nice golden color to it. Oh my god.
So, see,
it smells like it's on fire.
So it's okay. It smells like is it spicy or something?
No, it smells like someone just lit it up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like
okay.
it's dank.
Like it's okay. Wow. Okay. I thought mine was dank.
No.
At least mine has like. I mean, it is. It is pretty heavy on the hop, but it's got a sweet finish. Are you gonna be able to choke that thing down, or are you gonna get option number 2?
Oof. Well, that's interesting. It's very interesting. I'm gonna keep trying to go with it, but I don't know that I'm gonna be able to finish this one. I don't know how long I can stay with this one.
I've had some really dank beers before, but I've never thrown out or stopped drinking a beer because it was too dank. I always finished it.
Right. And I'm usually in that train as well. Like I like my IPAs. I like my hops. This is pushing my limits.
Really?
Because it's not really hoppy. It's just hemp. It's just hemp.
I've had some hemp beers before.
Yeah. I've even had hemp infused beers before where there's actual hemp in it. This says contains no hemp. It's like hemp oil or something like that.
Oh.
And it's bad.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting.
Yeah, because some hemp beers I've had where they had mixed it. Someone had mixed it with a fruit. I can't remember what it was. It was like a raspberry hemp ale or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I swear it tasted like kumquats. It was really good, actually. I thought it tasted excellent. But that just sounds insanity. That's dank, yo. Can you imagine that beer tastes like my neighbor's smell? Dank.
No, you're probably not wrong.
Yeah.
Where do you like your hops? Rev says, hey, it's never cool to drug someone. Also, I don't know about getting the host of a tech talk show blazed on medicated beer when he refrains from indulging in the greenery. I never said I refrained.
Just the gummies.
Yeah. Actually, I do gummies, but yeah.
Smells like disappointment, yeah.
Yeah. This smells like the really bad weed your friend bought in high school and tried to hotbox in the car with you.
Yeah, all the
like
all
it's that kind of smell.
Stems and twigs and whatnot.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, there's still like pine needles mixed in with it. Like, yeah, it's that kind of.
He accidentally spilled it on the lawn and had to pick it back out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're drinking what sounds like what happens when a dude who likes dabbing starts brewing. You're spot on. Yeah. You are spot on. Yeah. I mean, for not liking it, I've drank a decent amount already, but yeah, it's interesting to say the least. We do have a little beer news. I think it's a good transition to get into that real quick. Since
do you want to do the beer news real quick, and then
let's do beer news and we'll jump back into tech.
Sure.
Excuse me.
And we only have one, Nick. We only have one, right?
Yeah, just the one.
Okay.
So since the beginning of quarantine and the virus that shall not be named, the beer industry has changed. It's changed dramatically, and very, very quickly. Very much like a lot of other industries, it's kind of had to adapt with where can we sell our product now and how do we get it out to people. And it's not the way that they did it traditionally. Traditionally, a large percentage of beer sales have been kegs. Yeah. Because they've gone to tap houses and they've been live pour on draft. Yep. You know, that's where a good percentage of beer sales is at.
And it's easier to do it that way too. It's more cost effective. Yeah.
It's much more cost effective. You don't have to carbonate the beer before it gets there. That's done on site with a draft system. You know, it's easier to transport. You can get more of it in. You don't have to individually bottle and worry about blowouts and everything else. You know, it's just generally easier and less expensive.
Yeah. Even for homebrewers, that's the same way. That's the way to go. Get the 5-gallon Coney kegs.
Yep.
And that's way, way easier than bottling.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But the beer industry has needed to adapt to the times that are at hand, and that means no longer kegging your beer, but canning it. And so canning has been all the rage as of late. And in fact, Sandy Am Brewing, not far from my house, I bought 2 4-packs from them of beers they have never canned before. I bought the Governor's Reserve Pirate Stout, as well as the Willy Wee Scotch Ale.
Yep.
Or the Wee Willie Scotch Ale, or whatever the weird name that one is. Something Charles Willie Wee blah blah blah. Prince is in there somewhere. Yeah. Prince Charles Wee Willie Scotch Ale or something. It's like a weird freaking name, but it's a really good beer. But it's one that you could traditionally only get on draft.
Yeah.
And they canned it. And not only did they can it, I ordered it directly to my house, and a guy from Sandy Am Brewing came here and dropped a couple of 4-packs on my front door.
I know, that's awesome.
And it was wonderful.
It's like Uber Eats for beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And it was great. But that's not a unique situation. There are so many breweries out there that are having to adapt to being able to still sell and produce their beer, but get it out to customers so they can actually consume it. Because beer in kegs only lasts 3 months, and we're already well over 3 months into quarantine at this point. So it's been an interesting time. Now, there's a couple problems with spinning around an industry that's used to doing one thing and trying to do another. It's that the supply chain isn't there to do the other thing yet. And so canning equipment is all of a sudden in very short supply and high demand, as is CO2. CO2 is in very high demand, and supplies are running out kind of across the nation.
You gotta put them in those little tiny cans. You gotta get that. Just if you don't, then you gotta blow them up like a balloon.
Yeah. No. Just some guy in the back of the brewery.
Yeah, he's just in the back. Then you take it back and open, and you're like, oh god, this guy had a garlic Italian sandwich for lunch. So, Well,
at least it wasn't this guy who was smoking on his lunch break.
Yeah.
That's seriously what this tastes like.
Yeah. He's this doobie in a can.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to be about done with that one.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can finish it. Because now it's starting to coat my mouth, and all I taste is hemp.
Wow.
Like, that's all I taste. It's like hemp and Pilsner, and not a good Pilsner.
Oh, jeez.
Like, it's not even a good wheat beer. Like, if it was a good wheat beer, I'd keep going.
It'd be okay, yeah. But it's just like...
It's just hemp.
It's just hemp for hemp's sake.
It's
like dank for dank's sake.
Yeah. Like, if I was smoking alongside this, like, yeah, totally. This would be okay, because it'd just be a Pilsner. But it's not just a Pilsner. It's just, I'm chewing on hemp.
Yeah. And,
yeah. Is it growing on you yet, Jeff? No, but I think if I pour it in the yard, something might start growing.
That's the thing. Sometimes some beers, like you hate them at first, or you just don't like them as much at first. Then you drink a little bit more, and it tastes okay.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's.
It's like while it's in my mouth, it's okay.
Yeah.
And as soon as you swallow, it's just nothing but hemp again.
If you plug your nose, it's okay, but once I breathe in, it's totally bad.
Right. Yeah. Ugh. Doobies and Bud Light Orange. Actually, with some orange bitters, you're not far off.
Yeah. So anyway, so everything's going in bottles and cans, and we were just talking about that, and how certain companies are actually showing profits and increase in sales because of this. I know even John, he has a friend of ours who does mobile can brewing, and he has been nonstop busy. Yeah. Going to these breweries, and just because he's got a mobile canning system. So these places who don't normally have a canning system, he just goes there, bottles, cans some stuff up, gives it to them, and they put it in their cooler and they sell it out.
Yep.
And then they also mentioned in the article here one of our favorites that we like to talk about, and another company that started out really small and just all of a sudden got slammed, got the hug of death basically, was Tavor.
Yes.
And for people who are unfamiliar with what Tavor is, it is a mobile app that you can get that caters to the more high-end and rare beer collectors, or people who like those type of beers.
People like us.
Yeah, people like us. Yeah, people like us. And you could spend so much money on that, because what they'll do is like maybe 4 or 5 times a day they'll have a beer release, and they'll have a limited amount, and they'll release it, and it's usually something that's rated very high, and it's usually something that's rated high on Untapped or Beer Advocate or something like that. And then they'll have like a limited amount, and you just order it, and they put it in your crate, and they just keep building your crate, and they don't ship it to you until you tell them to ship it to you, which is usually within about a month. You can delay it if you want, but it's a one-time flat fee shipping, which is $15. No matter how big the shipment or small the shipment is, it's $15. And it's a pretty good service. But they've been slammed, and it used to be when we first started using it, the beer would get here within like a day, and then now shipments have been delayed by weeks now, I think. So it's a good service, but just with this lockdown, they've been slammed, and because of that, their inventory has also been going pretty quick too. Like if there's a beer that's super popular that comes up, it's gone within like 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
So you have to be on the ball with it.
Yeah. There's even like I follow a couple various groups in my local area, and I know John's part of the same groups.
Yeah.
And they'll announce areas in downtown Salem, hey, we got this beer, and it's first come first serve and not in our cooler.
Yeah.
And so you'll walk in and say, I want 6 of them. Yeah. And that's how you get those.
Yes.
Last time I had to do that was I got a notification, I think on Facebook, that a beer was available. And 6 minutes later, I got a message from John saying, hey, are you anywhere near Salem right now?
Oh, yeah. It's like, can I get it?
I went, yes, and I'm already on my way.
Yeah. No, that was...
and that was for the Fremont.
For the Fremont. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
they had all of the labels of the Fremont reserves available, and so I ended up buying I think 7 or 8 of them from them.
Yeah.
And I still have a couple of those in the fridge. I might have to crack one of those open one of these days. But...
So yeah, like another big one that's here for people who live in the Pacific Northwest probably know, and people who live in the Pacific Northwest and are big beer people know who Great Notion is. Great Notion, yeah. Great Notion is big, they're actually, the reputation is probably well earned because they're not overhyped. A lot of their stuff is very, very good. But when they have a new release, they don't distribute too much. It's like they don't send their kegs out. So you have to go to their facility. Yeah, their kegs are only on draft at their place. Yes. And there's only like 1 or 2 stores that you can sometimes find their IPA. Yes. And so what bottle shops will do is they'll drive to Great Notion, and they'll buy like a box of their stuff when it gets released on can, and then they'll take it back to their bottle shops, and you can buy them there, usually at a marked up price. Yeah. Because like we have a friend that Ubers up in Portland. And we told her, it's like, hey, Great Notion's got a new beer releasing today. Could you go up and get it? She went there and got it, or she went up there to go get it, and it was gone. It was literally gone within like 3 hours. Yeah. All the beers were gone. Yeah. Yeah, and but yeah, like I said, I'm on those lists. I'm on Great Notion's list. I'm on Rogue's list for some of their seasonal stuff. Yeah. I'm on a couple others where I get notifications when it's available, and it's you drive there that day and you get it, or you don't get it. Yeah, you don't get it. Yeah. So, but sometimes stuff like that will pop up on Tavor. Sometimes, and you can also get into some beer trading groups. And for those of us who live in Oregon, Great Notion trades like crazy. Like you can get anything you want if you have some Great Notion beers. Yes. Yeah. Because they're sought after all over the country. So. Yeah. I just like drinking them. I'm not gonna get yeah, me too. Yeah, I usually get the Great Notions. In fact, what was really funny is I had John buy me a 2 4-packs of Great Notion. He got one of the maple ones. And the stack, the maple stack. The maple stack. And he got something else. And then he got an offer for a beer trade, and they said, hey, can you get me some of the maple stack Great Notion? And he had already drank his, so he had to call me and buy mine back for me. So he could make this trade. And I said, you owe me half of that trade. He's like, okay. I don't remember what he got, but it was something out of Florida that he really wanted. Yeah. But yeah, that was a pretty funny moment. It was like less than a week later. He goes, Jeff, I need those back. Yeah. I hope you didn't drink them. Yeah. So, no, I still got them. Yeah. Should have drank them. Well, the maple stack ones that you can get, they put those out fairly regularly.
Yeah, that one's a regular release.
Yeah, that was fairly regular.
All right, more than halfway in.
That's okay. That's impressive. You got it.
It's kind of growing on me.
All right.
I said kind of.
Kind of.
Whoa. Pump those brakes, Steve.
Wow, that was like almost the Christopher Walken whoa there.
Whoa.
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 This
There you go.
uncomfortable IPA down my throat.
Is dank.
It's dank. Yeah. Our horrible Christopher Walken impressions.
That's right. Here all night. By the wheel. Yeah, it's kind of growing on me.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem as offensive. It's still offensive, but it's not as offensive.
Yeah.
But like, it just smells like bad weed.
It's like after the drill sergeant was yelling after you, for like an hour. After a while, it's just like, you keep yelling at me. I don't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just smells like bad weed, and there's really weird floaties in it.
Oh,
like you can see, like really large floaties.
Someone probably just scraped the bottom of their bong or something like that, or their pipe, and just like let's throw.
It's like bong water mixed with a pilsner.
Oh, yeah, that sounds horrible.
Yeah,
yeah,
and I'm ashamed to say it's not as offensive as it was when I started.
I'm accustomed to it. You're gonna miss it when it's gone.
No. No, I will be on to the next one.
Like being in an abusive relationship.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go to the bottom because there are a lot of floaties in this. Tell you what, I'm going to take one more drink, then I'm going to get another beer.
All right. Okay. Oh, yeah, there are floaties there.
Everyone see that? Yeah. All right, I'm going to go get another beer. Steve, why don't you intro the Boston Dynamics story?
All right. So, what we have here, so a lot of you have probably seen the Boston Dynamics dog, the creepy robotic dog that everybody shares on YouTube. That it's kind of like just this weird hopping, creeping dog. If you guys haven't seen it, you should probably look it up. But apparently, it's going commercial. You can go out and buy it for yourself and freak your neighbors out if you want to. If you got to spare $74,000, you can buy yourself your own robot dog. This would probably be on record for being the most expensive thoroughbred dog out there. The breed being RoboCop, RoboDog, RoboCop dog. I don't know. Anyway, so I guess Boston Dynamics is going to be releasing this sometime. Let me see here. I didn't really read the article. Jeff made me do this, and I'm not really prepared. Oh, okay. It was launched last year, I guess. So the 74,000 fee the fee, an outright purchase, by the way, not a lease. An academic and research institution can get you a discount if they contact the company. Include the package are 2 batteries, a year warranty, and is intended to strike a balance between what robotics research can afford and the value that corporate customers can derive from Spot. So his name's Spot?
Spot.
Is his name Spot?
His name is Spot.
No. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So
looks like Jeff is making a cocktail. You are indeed correct,
you're right.
Skull. So I checked my fridge. The only thing I have in there that's a 12-ounce bottle is an Avery 15.6%.
Well, it's almost like my right Boulevard.
Yeah, and I'm not opening a bomber. And I think I had like a porter that I've already had on the show before. It's like, it doesn't sound all that exciting.
No.
So I'm gonna make another old fashioned, but I'm gonna break out my Bullet Rye 12 year.
The good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Smells wonderful.
Are you gonna use any special bitters?
I do. I have some Bitter Housewife bitters.
Oh yeah, that's your go-to
Yeah.
bitter right now.
Yeah, this is my go-to, and it's
Yeah.
it's a Portland company, and they are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, no, I had some last time I was
Yeah.
over there. It's good.
They're delicious. Like no knock on Angostura. I love Angostura bitters.
Yeah, Angosturas, but they're standard.
But these are just Angostura is the ketchup of bitters.
Yeah.
Everyone has it. It's great. Everyone loves it. But sometimes you need a little barbecue sauce,
Yeah. You need a little secret sauce.
Right. Little A1.
Yeah,
from time
a
to
little
time.
A1. Worcestershire sauce.
All right. So I'm going to do about 2.5 ounces.
Yeah.
Trending 3.
Now, have you done a rum old fashioned?
I have. I make a killer rum old fashioned.
Yeah. I've seen a couple cocktail recipes for a rum old fashioned, and it very much intrigued me, and I want to try several of them now.
Yeah.
Because I do love a classic old fashioned.
Yeah.
But I'm also on a rum kick.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to try a rum old fashioned.
Yeah, no, I make a pretty killer rum old fashioned. I add just a little bit of lime to it, and I can also make you a pineapple rum old fashioned.
Oh, that sounds interesting. I have
delicious.
not seen that one.
Yeah.
See, the recipe I saw, instead of like a orange peel, they used a lemon peel.
Yeah.
And they said that was like a much better pairing.
Yeah.
With the rum, and I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting. I'd go for that.
And just to trigger John, I'm using my my Death Star ice ball tonight. That apparently makes John so special because he has a Death Star ice ball.
I know. It's like it was only on sale on ThinkGeek like 5 years ago for like $5.
Yeah.
That everybody bought. I think I have that mold somewhere too.
Yeah.
There we go. Pavlovian response, of course. The bullet rye.
Yeah. And the 12 year, even though it's 12 year, and it usually gets a little smoother with age, the Bullet 12 year rye still has quite a bit of pepper to it. It's still got a little kick.
Oh.
So like it's really good.
Dragon09 says that he uses his bullet bourbon to clean his tobacco pipe, and I've actually done that before. I haven't used bullet bourbon to clean my tobacco pipe, but I have used a bourbon before. I used Buffalo Trace, and it turned out really good. But I actually, for cleaning out my pipe, a high proof spiced rum was good because the next smoke out of that pipe was absolutely delicious.
Let's see, Novella Hub, time for Jeff to make a Mai Tai. I make a Mai Tai in a very traditional way, and I think maybe next week on the show I can demo that one. So, I mean, I made the old-fashioned before. I mean, there it is. It's an old-fashioned.
Yeah, it's an old-fashioned. Everyone knows what it is.
Everyone knows the way I make it at this point. It's, 3/4 ounce simple syrup. In this case, I'm using a homemade Demerara syrup, which is just 1-to-1 Demerara sugar and water. Boil it for 10 minutes. And then pour it in a bottle. 2.5 to 3 ounces of a rye, and then 2 to 3 dashes of bitters. That's it. Stir it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. But I do make a very traditional Mai Tai. Now, Steve, what do you think of when you hear Mai Tai?
The Love Boat. I don't know. Like tropical vacations, like the tropics. Yeah.
You think probably pineapple and orange juice and a lot of rum and a lot of grenadine and very sweet.
Very, very sweet, tropically rummy. That's basically what it is. Yeah.
Rum sugar punch is what you think, right?
Yeah.
A Mai Tai, and I'll explain this next week, is actually a lime-based cocktail that uses an orgeat syrup, which is an almond-based syrup.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, orgeat.
And it is completely different than anyone thinks a Mai Tai is. So I think I will make that next week.
That's cool.
So.
Reverend Arrow says he also cures his own tobacco. That's me. Hey, I'll take some. Great. Okay. Okay, so where are we now? We're done with the doggy story.
Yep.
Which
Zoom. Oh, excuse me. Zoom. Zoom is in the news again.
There is no data, only Zoom.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Zoom is in the news again. So, Zoom had a major update a couple of weeks ago. They forced everyone to move to their 5.0 software.
Mm-hmm.
And as part of that update, they said all of our paid customers now have end-to-end encryption, which was one of the main focus points that the Slam articles that came out were trying to make. Like, well, it's not encrypted at the server level. Yeah, just like every other voice chat you're on. Like,
yes,
nothing's encrypted at the server level. I know. They're all unencrypted. Sorry.
Everybody's spying on you. Don't
worry. Right. No. And the encryption they were using was only 128 AES. They probably should have been using 256, but at the same time, if you're going to man in the middle something, 128 is still probably fine. So, yeah, the points that came up about their security wasn't terrific or wasn't really valid, but they still fixed them. And they still did it, yeah. And so they implemented 256, and they said, we'll offer all of our paid customers end-to-end encryption. And people went, wait, all your paid customers? What about your free customers? Oh, well, we still want to be able to work with local law enforcement and whatnot, and be able to give footage over to law enforcement for potentially illegal behavior.
So that means that if you want to do illegal things on Zoom, you should pay for it.
Just pay for it.
Just pay for it. I mean, you're dealing. You got a lot of drug money you got going around here. Right. You might as well pay the extra for the Zoom service.
To which everyone responded, no.
yeah, exactly.
And so Zoom said, okay, we'll go ahead and encrypt it. Yeah. So Zoom is now offering end-to-end encryption for all users after a little bit of blowback from everyone.
Yeah.
So, credit to Zoom for eventually landing on the right decision. I've been a little bit of a defender of Zoom, as it's still one of the simplest products to use. The security problems that they had, I don't really perceive as major problems. And you still have to understand the system that you're using is a system that you're not in charge of.
Yeah.
And, if you want to be 100% secure, then use your own system. But as far as like, I need to voice chat with my doctor, or my kid needs to get into an online classroom now, it's fine.
Yeah.
No one cares. No one's going to look at that.
No one's going to be able to see your video chat with grandma to know if you really did get that $5 check from her for your birthday.
Right.
Because
because now everyone can Zoom.
Yeah, everyone can Zoom. Yeah. That's right. All right. So Zoom did the right thing.
Yes, they did eventually come to the right decision. I wish they would have made that decision right away. It would have been a lot easier to say, hey, way to go, Zoom. But
well,
civil.
Oh yes, well, thank you. It's fine. Actually, I do have a pipe that looks like that.
I know.
I do.
Like almost exactly like that.
Yeah, I know.
That's funny. That's awesome. Join the Discord. Join the Patreon down below. Please get in on the fun.
Yep.
All right. How about some legal talk, Steve?
Oh yeah, that's
nothing gets my gears firing like legal talk.
I wake up in the morning and the first thing I tell my wife is I roll over and I'm like, "Tell me something Perry Mason said." That's exactly what gets me off.
Steve, you're moaning about 12 Angry Men in your sleep again.
That's right. Yeah, nothing like legalese that gets me off in the morning.
Yep. He's got like literally just terms of service next to his toilet.
Yeah, so that's right.
Apple shall not be held liable if you use an iPhone in a nuclear facility. Oh! Anyway, sorry everyone. So just when we thought Duke Nukem might just finally go away. Like,
yes.
not be in the news for something. Because
Mm-hmm.
you haven't been relevant for over 20 years. Like, you
Yeah.
realize that. It's been since 1994 since Duke Nukem was relevant.
Yes. Relevant.
With Duke Nukem 3D.
Not with a released game, but relevant.
Relevant, right.
Relevant, yeah.
I know they have Duke Nukem Forever.
Yes. Not relevant, though.
Yeah, it's not relevant. Right.
I do have a shameful confession to make, though. And this is a Talking Heads exclusive. I bought Duke Nukem Forever day one.
Did you?
I did.
Ooh.
I know.
Ooh.
I know. Biggest mistake of my life. If time travel is ever invented, I'm not going to go back and kill Hitler.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go back and save JFK. I'm going to go back and tell me to not buy Duke Nukem Forever day one. I think my life would be so much better today if I didn't do that. I could be living in a mansion if I didn't do that.
Steve's statements are his own and do not reflect the opinions of Craft Computing or its affiliates. Choices 1 and 2 are probably still go back and kill Hitler, go back and prevent MLK, and then step 3 is go back and say, Steve, you probably shouldn't have bought Duke Nukem Forever. Like, the writing was on the wall for that one.
At least I'm third. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I'll give you that one as a professional courtesy.
Yeah.
But I'm putting the other 2 first.
All right.
Yeah, I also bought No Man's Sky day 1.
But they rectified that because No Man's Sky is actually pretty good.
It was fixed 18 months later, right?
Okay, granted, this is Duke Nukem Forever came out 5 years ago, and it hasn't changed.
Right.
They released some DLC for it, and that was it.
Let's see. 9 years. 2011.
That's when Duke Nukem Forever came out?
2011. June 10th, 2011. So we literally just crossed the 9-year anniversary for it.
Time flies when you're wallowing in self-pity.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it got a 6 out of 10 on Steam. It got a 62% of users on Google reviews liked it. So not high scores. Not high scores.
I forced myself to beat it.
Yeah.
I had to physically force myself to beat it.
Oh, God, this hurts. I was like 10. Oh, God. Civil says 12-year-old me was into it for some reason. 12-year-old me was playing the original Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
And I know Steve's still going, ooh.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
You're talking about the Duke Nukem side scroller, not Duke Nukem 3D, right?
Duke Nukem 3D.
Oh god, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Because I remember both.
Yeah, no, I remember the side scroller too.
Yeah.
I played the side scroller before I played 3D. So you're not like completely out. Like,
okay. All right, because like a lot of people like, oh, that's Duke Nukem 3D. Oh, what's that? Oh, they have a side scroller. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, I'll go back and play 1 and 2 now. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When did Duke 3D come out?
Oh gosh, that's like 90.
I always say
96?
94, 96. 96.
Oh, I was right. Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I always want to say 94, but yeah, it was 96.
No, it was 96. But yeah, no, I loved it when Duke Nukem 3D came out. That game was awesome.
Yeah.
It came out at the same time Doom did, but it actually had like a lot more fun things to do than
vertical.
Vertical, yeah. You had the jetpack,
outside of
the shrink ray. They had some really great weapons in there that just made it a super fun game to play.
Right. It was super innovative for a brand new like mode of thinking because you have to think of Wolfenstein and Blake Stone and some of those original games that came out from ID that were or id that were kind of like the we've made the transition from side-scroller shooters to first-person shooters.
Yes.
But all of them had one thing in common, and that's all the levels were 100% flat.
Yes.
There was no elevation in them whatsoever.
Yeah, there was no up or down.
Doom changed that a little bit in that they added elevators and like 2- and 3-story rooms. And then the occasional outdoor area with like cliffs you could fall off.
Right.
But that was still super rare. In the first level of Duke Nukem, You jump down an elevator shaft into like this open like city street.
Yeah.
And that city building is like 7 or 8 stories tall. There's a secret on the second story in the very first place that you come to.
Yeah,
it takes you into the apartment building. You break into the theater. They've got a full movie complex in there. There's enemies flying all around you.
Oh yeah.
It was innovative for its day.
It was
and there's a
absolutely
reason
innovative.
it was such a good game. But yeah, anyway, we're getting off topic here.
Yeah.
Duke Nukem Forever and Duke Nukem 3D. Duke Nukem 3D is actually the point of this article here. And that's that Gearbox and Apogee Software still can't get their S together.
Yes, I know. So we just said, okay, that came out in 96, right? We just said that.
96.
There's still legal troubles happening with this stuff.
Yes, with Duke Nukem 3D.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, Gearbox Software, the Borderlands series, purchased the Duke Nukem franchise from Apogee Software, which owns 3D Realms. So 3D Realms remained a studio or a publisher or whatever within the Apogee family. And they purchased the Duke Nukem name and assets from 3D Realms. So Gearbox owns Duke Nukem at this point.
Yeah.
Part of that agreement was twofold. Number one, Apogee needs to swear there are no outstanding license agreements with anything, and every asset you are selling Gearbox, you own. Which means all of your characters, all of your names, all of your music, everything will be transferred to Gearbox, and Gearbox maintains full ownership and no licensure of those products. Number two is that if there happens to be a license agreement or a license dispute or something like that, there's essentially a hold harmless clause to Gearbox within this purchase agreement, where Apogee will bear the brunt of whatever legal process comes after. And so if, let's say, a music track comes up and is copyright claimed by some group that says you don't have rights to use this song, Apogee will step in and say we'll pay the licensing so Gearbox can produce the game and keep that original song. There's a reason I keep coming back to the music, is that's exactly the crux of the current lawsuit. Is that Gearbox Apogee 3D Realms happened to not own the music for the original Duke Nukem 3D. In fact, the license was owned by the music artist, by the original composer of the music. And when Gearbox released the Duke Nukem Anniversary World Tour in 2016, the original artist said, hey, you don't own the rights to that music. I do, and sued Gearbox. Gearbox went to Apogee and said, hey, we have, number one, a guarantee that there's no licensure on any of this and that we were the owners of it. And number two, we have a hold harmless, so you guys need to fix this. And Apogee said, we ain't fixing S, brother. And so now Gearbox is suing Apogee.
Over a game from 1996.
Yeah, over a game from 1996 that they're still trying to milk that dry cow.
Oh, man. And are they milking it? Do you think, like, with the new consoles and stuff like that, announcing a new version of GTA 5 and Skyrim and all those other games that they're just milking the crap out of? No.
I want everyone who buys GTA 5 for the PS5 to instantly be greeted on the, oh, you're finally awake.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, no, they've been milking...
Franklin wakes up on the wagon going, what the... Trevor is the Dragonborn.
They should honestly have a compilation of, like, they should do package deals of games with Skyrim. Yeah. And then if you beat the original game, it fades to black and instantly starts in Skyrim with you on the wagon.
They need to start including
that's the only way you can launch Skyrim that way. Is you have to beat the game.
You have to beat Borderlands 3, and when you die after finally unlocking the vault or whatever else, it fades. Yeah, it fades to black.
It goes to.
Oh, you're finally awake.
Oh, you're finally awake. There's brilliant ideas here. Brilliant ideas, guys.
There needs to be Easter eggs like that in some games. I'm surprised there haven't been already.
Yeah.
Because I mean, in Doom, also a Bethesda product, but there's the Dragonborn with an arrow in his knee, with the iron helmet on, laying in one of the alleys that you walk through, and so I mean, there's Easter eggs like that, but I want someone to go like full bore and do a Skyrim intro like you're on
ending,
a wagon and carriage and fade in, and I want that as an Easter egg at some point.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Like some RPG, like, you know, you're joining the Thieves Guild, or, you know, like something like that, where your character is kidnapped and all of a sudden you wake up on a wagon. Like, I want that somewhere
you're
in
awake.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Anyway,
well,
so
I am almost done with this. I'm gonna we're getting close.
Yeah,
I'm getting close.
Go for it. I'll wait for you for the next one because it's Adobe Flash, and I'm sure you have 2 cents to throw in on that one.
You know, I love to dump on Adobe Flash, but that's fine. I'm gonna actually do this one in a glass here because this one's got IPA residue and all this kind of stuff. So I'm gonna go with my boneyard glass.
Yeah, mine has bong water in it.
So. Yeah, I know you don't. Yeah, you definitely want this. Oh, I thought this was gonna be thicker than or darker than what it is. Oh wait, before I finish pouring this.
Yeah, make sure you pour your sampler.
Yes, I gotta pour for my wife. From that small amount of IPA I gave her, she's probably passed out somewhere.
That's my wife. She drinks like 8 ounces of cider and goes, "I'm done for the night."
Yeah. No, actually, my wife can pound it pretty good. Actually,
I know your wife can.
Yes, she can.
I've gone shot to shot with your wife, and I tip my hat to thee.
Yes, I know. She typically has to drive me home, so that's fine. Let me smell this thing. It smells okay.
Now, which one is this again?
This is the rye on rye. So it's
right.
a rye ale aged in whiskey barrels with maple syrup.
Okay. Yeah.
So whiskey and pancakes, basically.
Yes.
Oh wow. That is really good. It's got some really good whiskey notes to it, some really good rye. You can taste the rye beer to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's got
See, I love a rye beer that's also barrel aged because I love rye whiskey. Like I appreciate a bourbon and I appreciate good scotch.
Yeah. But this has got the maple isn't coming like super maple, but the sweetness is definitely coming through at the end. Civil Bro wants to go drinking with my wife. I'll tell her that. Next time you come down, we'll all go drinking out together.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll come in. I don't know. I texted her. I told her that her sample's ready. Maybe she's watching. I don't know.
All of a sudden, my Discord chat isn't going through. That's weird.
On Restream?
No, on Discord. I'm trying to type into Discord and it's failing on me, which is bizarre. So I think I'm going to quit and rejoin. Yeah. Anyway, so Adobe Flash is in the news.
Yes.
Can you believe it?
Speaking of old things.
2020.
I know. We're still talking about Flash.
Speaking of old things, it's not just Steve.
Flash. Go save
snap.
the universe.
Yeah, so speaking of old things, Adobe Flash is in the news. And that is that Adobe has officially announced an end-of-life date for Adobe Flash.
Yes, exactly.
They have finally... Oh, you're going to show your bottle there? There you go.
Scotty Fit was wanting to know what I was drinking.
Okay. Yeah, Boulevard Rye on Rye.
Yeah, Rye on Rye, whiskey barrel aged with maple syrup.
So that is that Adobe has announced an official end-of-life date for Adobe Flash. Mm-hmm. They are throwing in the sword. Mm-hmm. They are conceding defeat.
Yes.
Dropping out of the race.
This is like
what other idioms can I throw at this?
Do you remember when the Death of Superman comic book came out? This is pretty much equal to that.
Yeah.
This is the death of Flash. Not Flash the superhero, this Flash the whatever. But yeah, it's like
Flash
that.
The browser extension.
Flash the browser, yeah.
Yeah. Basically end of year 2020.
Yeah.
They say you won't be able to download it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You won't be able to use it anymore. We are officially taking it off our site.
Yeah.
Although I don't think they've said anything about what is that, Flash or Fireworks or whatever that is part of the Creative Suite. So I don't know if you'll still be able to like write Flash applications.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would suspect that they would probably still have the standalone player that you can download and install. They probably won't support it. They probably won't like develop it anymore. But because like there's some legacy Flash applications that you can still download. There's like some old games.
Yeah,
we were just talking about that Newgrounds, which was like an old website that just had a ton of Flash content. That's all it was.
Yeah,
and there was some really great stuff on there. That if they deprecate it, it's gone. You can't do anything with it on a browser because most browsers have basically shut it off. So the only thing that would preserve that is if you had it, you can download it and you can play it again on your local.
Yeah. There's Stick Figure Death Theater. That was another huge one that relied on Flash. That was quite popular through the early 2000s and whatnot. But there's a lot of late 90s, early 2000 games that are built on Flash. There's games that are still popular today that are built on Flash.
On Flash, yes.
A good chunk of Facebook games. You think Farmville. You think a couple of those are all Adobe Flash products.
I think most of the more popular Facebook ones have already converted to HTML5.
They've already converted, but you think of like the boom in like the mid 2010s.
Oh yes.
Of Facebook games, they were all Flash based.
Oh yes, they were.
Yeah. So for Adobe to finally throw in the towel on this is kind of a big deal because it is finally the end of an era that drug on for probably about 10 years too long.
Yes.
It's there's not a lot of news on if there's anything that's going to be done to preserve some of these old applications. Because there's also a whole community that does like to preserve, history of applications. I'm a huge proponent for abandonware type stuff. Preserving the past as it is and being able to run it on, not only run it, but run it on like native hardware, native applications, not just find a workaround and go, oh, it kind of looked like this. No, I want to see it in its original form.
Right. Well, I mean, we do have things like DOSBox now that will run old DOS applications that can't run natively in Windows anymore. So, I mean, I'm sure Flash will still be able to run on Windows for some time to come.
Yep.
But I mean, there could be a time where, because since it's being abandoned, that will have to be a Flash emulator out there that will emulate Flash. So you can play some old Flash stuff.
Yep. So. Yeah, I've heard tale of there's like an open source Flash project that's trying to do some preservation, and there's actually some hope that Adobe may just open source Flash code. And so, sites like that can get off the ground and say, hey, we've built our own, open source Flash emulator. And if you want to play all these old games, you can either download them or run them on our site or whatever.
Yeah.
So who knows? Who knows what'll come of that? I doubt Adobe's going to be so giving because that's intellectual property.
Right. Well, it wasn't even theirs to begin with. They bought Flash from Macromedia. Yeah.
Right.
In fact, they did that with Illustrator too. Yes, Illustrator used to be Aldus Illustrator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they've done that quite a few times throughout the years. I remember when Macromedia was the thing, and it wasn't a browser extension or anything like that.
It was literally standalone.
It was a standalone application development platform that you would write for, and a lot of inexpensive games that you would buy.
Yep.
I'm thinking back to like the mid '90s. You remember Independence Day, the movie? Jeff Goldblum, and They had a line of toys, and in that line of toys came floppy disks, and on those floppy disks came games that were Macromedia Flash games based on the movie.
Yeah,
and they actually weren't half bad games. They were simple, but they
were simple.
Yeah, but those were Flash-based games. Yeah. And you think back to the mid-90s of like Frog and Blender.
Because it was
those kinds of those were all Macromedia Flash.
It was a super quick and easy way to develop something fast.
To develop graphical applications.
Fast, right. Yeah. And it was like just a multimedia way of developing things pretty easily. And it was a good platform for its time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a good platform for the mid 90s, when we didn't have to think about so many security holes.
I know. Now it's just a nightmare for security.
Yeah.
And it's got to go. It's got to get taken out back and shot. Sorry.
Yep.
Poor Flash broke its leg. Got to take it out back, shoot it, put it to the glue factory.
No, Pa, it's my development environment.
Let me do it.
Let me do it. No, Pa, it's my SDK. There you go. So yeah, Flash officially dead.
Yep.
End of calendar year
yep.
2020.
Yeah.
And in fact, Chrome already announced that as of January 20th, 2020, they will be killing its Flash extension as well.
Yeah.
So, ID Prom says I think it was Shockwave at the time, and it was Shockwave for a good long time. It became Flash later on.
Yes.
It was Macromedia Flash Player and Shockwave development environment, if I remember correctly.
It was two different things. Yeah.
Developed with Macromedia Shockwave, and Flash was still the language or the.
I think Flash ended up being Shockwave was the environment and Flash was the scripting language, I think.
Yeah, something
like that.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
And eventually it all just balled into
Flash. It's a Flash, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, QuickTime for the win.
QuickTime.
All right.
Enough with reminiscing about Flash.
Yes. Sony PlayStation 5 news.
Yeah, we had the whole. I think there's a lot of people because it's big news. People. Well, we had the press conference last week.
Yep.
And I don't know if you watched it. I watched it. I mean,
I didn't watch it. I caught the bullet points afterwards.
Okay. It is what it was. It's basically was a streaming version of their press conference that they normally have at E3.
What I love is 60 seconds in, they show the Rockstar logo, and the crowd goes, "Whoa, we're Rockstar again!"
Oh yeah,
and then it's the beach scene again, and it's Michael doing yoga, and you're going, "What?"
I know. I remember because every stream you go on, you're just like, what the fuck, GTA? It's for the whole stream, GTA 5 question mark GTA 5.
Right.
What it's oh my god.
Yeah. Do you know why GTA 5? Because GTA 5 printed Rockstar $1 billion.
Oh yeah, they're still making money off of that.
Billion.
Red Dead Redemption 2 has run its course already almost.
Yeah.
And GTA 5 is still making them money.
Still going. Still making
them money.
I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2 made them a boatload of money.
They made them a lot of money too. Yes, of course they did.
But the multiplayer hasn't been nearly as popular.
No, not as popular as GTA 5. Nowhere near.
People are still buying shark cards on GTA 5 and still spending money at will. And man, I'd like to be Will right now.
Oh yes.
But yeah, GTA 5 is, I think, the top-selling media item of all time.
Right.
Movie, theater, TV.
It makes sense. I mean, it's transcended 3 generations of consoles so far.
Yeah.
I mean, this next one hasn't come out, but it
was a PS3 and Xbox 360 mid-cycle launch.
Late cycle launch. Late cycle launch. Yeah. Late cycle launch. But then it came out, for the PS4 and the Xbox One, and then now it's coming out. I'm assuming it's going to come out for the new Xbox, and it's coming out for the PlayStation 5 too. So 3, they are really milking the heck out of this thing. But that's not what this article is about. This is we're talking about the PlayStation 5.
Sorry, I misspoke. So JFC said, "Jeff, it's not $1 billion, it's billions." And I went, "Okay, did they make 2?" 6.
6
billion
off of GTA 5.
GTA 5. Worldwide
Holy
revenue
moly.
year to date, $6 billion.
Wow.
That's why you get GTA 5 on PlayStation 5 as a launch title.
Yeah.
Is because they went, yeah, we'll tweak it and add some extra shaders to it. You want to throw us another $1 billion? We're cool with that.
Yeah.
We've got the scratch.
Oh yeah. Let's get another $1 billion.
Yeah.
Let's get the next one
Sold
on there.
130 million copies worldwide and 6 billion in revenue.
I don't know.
The majority from online gaming purchases.
I'm almost like, I'm thinking that they're like doing this as almost a experimentation in human psychological whatevers to see how much they can really milk out of people.
Yeah.
Like, how much can we really squeeze out of this rock? Because at this point, it's almost like, I think this is an experiment. This is like some scientific people behind us. Like, well, let's see if we can just throw that there, see what we can do.
And Scotty points out that number is from 2018.
Oh God.
GTA 5 is now the most profitable entertainment product ever, passing $6 billion. Was published November 13th, 2018. So 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Or sorry, about 18 months ago. Little over 18 months. But yeah, they surpassed $6 billion in 2018, making them the most profitable and most revenue-generating entertainment product of all time. Any entertainment product you've ever thought of,
yes,
they made more.
Yes. Yeah, just eclipses movies and any kind of form of entertainment you can think of. That's crazy.
It's pushing like national sports leagues at
Yes,
$6 billion in revenue.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And this is just one product within the scope of, video games and digital entertainment.
Yeah. Anyway, so PlayStation 5, Rockstar announces GTA 5 launch title for PS5. One thing they didn't say during the whole thing was how much it will be.
Yep.
What's the price?
Which is what everybody wants to know.
Right.
Yes, and there's been plenty of speculation because
we know it's going to be called the PlayStation 5.
Yes,
how much money do I have to give you?
Yes.
That's what I want to know.
Yes.
I don't care that you're all AMD. I don't care what the physical specs are. It's a
Yes.
console. It'll play whatever the current generation is at 60 FPS. I get it. I'm fine with that. How much is it going to be?
So, apparently, Amazon France, right?
Mm-hmm.
It got leaked through Amazon France, which apparently has leaked a whole bunch of stuff before in the past.
Yes, they have.
They have.
They play it fast and loose in Amazon France.
Yeah, I guess in France they go out, they close, their stores by about noon and have a 3-hour lunch and have a couple, bottles of wine, come back to work, and they're like, oh yeah, release that, let's go.
Yeah.
That's why.
They have their couple bottles of wine and say, oh, we got the PlayStation 5 side built. What should we do? Post it. Fuck it.
PlayStation 5? Let's tell everyone. Yeah, that's what they do. That was an accurate representation of what actually happened.
Yes. And scene.
Yes. But much to everyone's, I guess, not big surprise, it was pretty much the price point that they thought it was going to be.
It's actually significantly lower than I thought it was going to be.
Well, a lot of people were speculating because
I heard speculation as high as about $650.
Yeah, there was someone who did like what they thought a hardware breakdown would be, and they said it was going to be like $650 to $700, but who knows? They could. There's a lot of times where they'll release a console and the hardware will be sold at a loss, and then a lot of times because the hardware is revolutionary and people will trip in a bit, they make it up in software costs. So, maybe they've gotten this down to a science where they can say, okay, if we're gonna take a loss for the first year, but because of the software we put out, everyone's gonna buy it. We'll make up for it within a year.
Right.
They did that. They tried doing that with the PS3, and I think it took them like 4 years or something before they actually made it.
Yeah.
Because they undercut the hardware so hard.
Yeah, the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 both sold at a loss the entire life of the hardware.
It took like years before they were actually like
before both divisions were profitable. Yeah. And the reason they did that was because in mid 2006 or whenever it was that those consoles launched, PC gaming was really on the rise. It was on the rise at like a meteoric kind of arch. We're not going to be able to catch it.
Right. It was like at the golden age. It was like when Half-Life came out. It's like
it was Half-Life 2. You had it was Half-Life 2.
It was before Half-Life 2 because like Half-Life 2 came out for the 360 later.
Yeah.
It was Half-Life was still there. Unreal Tournament had come out. Quake Tournament.
Yeah, you had
really
Quake
big.
Tournament. You had gosh, what's the trying to think of. Well, you had Crisis coming out about that same time.
Was that around that time Crisis came out?
That
Yeah,
was
probably.
2008.
Yeah, probably.
2008,
Yeah,
Crisis came out, but they had announced it in 2006. And so all of a sudden you're competing with like this, with like the graphics that PC can deliver and the gameplay that they can deliver. And you have to get the console into people's hands so they can buy the software for it. And so the Xbox 360 came out and it was, I think, $300 at launch and it was $199 for the arcade version.
Yes.
So if you didn't want any local storage and you were fine with just playing off discs, there you go.
Yeah.
You know,
and it was the only time.
And it was legit.
Yeah, it was
like a good amount of hardware for your money.
It was the only time within the last 20 years where a console release for a brief moment had higher specs than what you can buy for a PC.
Had eclipsed PC games.
Had eclipsed PC for like
6 months.
Not even that. I think it was like 3 months or something like that.
Yeah.
It was very, very short time, but they did, and the price point was excellent. But they suffered for that because they did not make a profit at that hardware for almost the entire life of that hardware. So I think they're like trying to find that sweet spot right here. They're trying to find like where we can take a little bit of loss on the hardware, but it's still attractive enough for people to buy it, and then we can gain it back fairly quickly within like a year of selling this stuff. I think that's what they're going for right here.
Right. And they might be selling this at a slight loss, although we know AMD gets really good bins out of their products, and we know both these consoles are AMD based.
Yes.
They might not be selling at a loss. That's the scary thing.
Okay, but they're talking about this proprietary NVMe technology that they're putting into the PS5. They say it's proprietary. I don't know. That's what they say.
The storage has never been closer to the processor.
I
the
know.
latency on it is insane. I get 5,000 megabytes per second.
Yes.
Is a lot.
Yes.
I don't fathom that it's anything different than on PC.
I agree with you there.
I
agree with you there. I think it's all marketing hype.
It is a lot of marketing hype.
I think it's a lot of marketing hype.
Now, if you compare it to the drives that were sold in all the previous consoles, because
it's like Rocket League's
right.
Yes, yeah.
It's basically flash memory. It's basically And so the idea that you can, and there might be specific algorithms within the OS that say we're just going to hold whatever this is basically as like live memory.
Yeah.
And so no more loading scenes, no more this and that, but if you're optimizing for a console and you're optimizing down and you're rendering at a lower resolution, which spoiler alert, they're not going to render at 4K.
They're not gonna render 4K, yeah.
Sorry.
In fact, I think Digital Foundry already did an analysis of a lot of the videos that they showed at the conference. And they said that there was a few things that were running at native 4K, but the ones that were running at native 4K were running at like 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
Or below.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of dynamic scaling going on.
Yeah.
And so I trust,
like when Halo 3 launched on the Xbox 360 and they said you can game at 1080p and it's like the most magnificent thing ever. Halo 3 was still running at like 760p.
Yeah,
that's the resolution it ran natively at, and it upscaled to a 1080 output.
Yeah.
That's all it was. Yeah. And that's all consoles have ever done.
Yeah.
Sorry to burst your bubble.
No, they've always done that. It's never been raw. Well, in some cases it's been raw, but for the most part, you could not tell because they don't give you the option of being able to set it that way.
Yep. JFC has a great point. You can say anything you want about consoles, but you never need to reinstall Windows on them. No antivirus, no license, just sit down and play.
Yeah, and that's
why they sell.
That's the big selling point.
And quite honestly, I'm a big proponent of game on whatever you want to game on.
No, I
am not a staunch PC Master Race, 144 hertz or bust, kind of thing, or whatever the next benchmark that I have to EPEAN measure is. Because for a while it was 60 FPS at 1080p, and then it was like, well, everything can do that now because, well, Intel is screwing us by releasing the same products over and over. So what's the next thing we can shoot for? Oh, let's shoot for 90 FPS or bust. Let's shoot for 144 FPS or bust.
Yeah, this is how I've always looked at it anyway, because I'm not a big audiophile.
Mm-hmm.
I just have when I'm watching movies or watching TV, I just have a sound bar.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy. I've been to people's houses who are audiophiles, and they have this whole thing set up, and they play me some music, and I'm like, I get it. There's a big difference. I just don't care.
Right.
I just don't care. When I play my games, I want my PC because I want the best. This is what I enjoy doing. I am a hardware, software gaming enthusiast. Just like there's audiophiles who are audiophiles enthusiasts.
Right.
So people who want to play games, they just want to play games, and that's fine. That's fine.
You can be a game enthusiast without being an FPS nut. You can be a game enthusiast without being a resolution nut.
Right.
You can be a game enthusiast
you
without
just
being
I like playing these games, right? Just like I like movies, but I don't need my THX 8.1 surround sound, blah 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 blah, whatever. I don't need to pay that much money to enjoy it. I get that concept.
I have a 75-inch Vizio 4K 120 hertz TV in my living room, and I have a really nice Vizio soundbar with a Polk Audio subwoofer attached to it. Yeah. I disconnected the Polk Audio sound or the soundbar because my Roku remote can't control the volume on it, and it's a pain in the ass to have to stand up and go turn down the soundbar manually.
To go in there
and so I use just the speakers on the TV, and I'm okay.
Yeah,
I make it day to day.
Yeah,
I'm not curled up in the fetal position in my living room going, oh, I wish the bass was better. I wish the bass was better.
I think a lot of
the convenience factor, like a console. It's fine.
It's fine, and
I can watch a movie like this.
And I completely agree. I think where the whole, PC master race console thing comes from is like where the console people say, well, no, mine is so much better. It's better than PC. It's always been. It's like, no, it's not. But it's fine that you like it. It's okay.
You had 3 months in the last 40 years.
Yes,
where it was better than a PC,
and that was it.
And that's because they sold you $600 in hardware for $199.
Yeah. It's like me going to somebody's house that has a $10,000 surround sound system, and me going like, I don't know, my sound bar is better. Mm-hmm. That's the equivalent of it, right? It's no, it's not better, and I get why you do it. I'm just not into it.
Right. Exactly.
And that's fine.
And that's fine.
It's fine.
And I've always come to the PC perspective and the gaming perspective in general of, if you're enjoying what you're doing, who the hell cares?
Yeah, who cares?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I have always been I'll play on whatever. Mm-hmm. Today, while I was waiting for Steve to join, I'll get into my RTX voice complaint right now.
Yeah. Oh,
because I told Steve about this before the stream.
Right. Yeah.
So I sent Steve the Zoom invite. And I was waiting for him to join, so I had Zoom launched, and I had OBS open and ready for the stream, and I'm just sitting there chilling, and I went, you know what? I've been kind of jamming on some old DOSBox games lately. Let me fire up DOSBox, and I'll play a game of like Miles Boren or something like that while I'm waiting for Steve. Which, for those who don't know, Miles Boren for DOS launched in 1988.
Yeah,
it's a card game, and I'm playing a card game on my PC. That's all I wanted to do. So I opened DOSBox, and DOSBox crashes immediately. And I went, what the crap? I was on this like an hour ago. Yep. And so I launch it again, and it crashes again. Launch it again, crashes again. And while it's crashing, my webcams are all freezing. So both my C920, which is what Steve's looking at me on, and then my Sony cam, which is what you're all looking at me on, both of those like froze while DOSBox was open. And I went, maybe OBS is screwing with it. So I closed OBS, and then I launched DOSBox, and DOSBox crashed again. And my Zoom feed froze. And I went, well, that's weird. Maybe Zoom is effing with it. And so I closed Zoom. And then I launched it again, and it crashed again. And I went, what the heck else is open? Like, I've got a couple of web browsers up, and that's it. I've got Discord, and that's always on. Maybe it's RTX Voice. And so I closed RTX Voice, and DOSBox launched just fine. So DOSBox cannot launch if RTX Voice is enabled. Yeah. That's what I found in this bug. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But that's what I ran into. But the point is that rather than sitting here and playing a game of Rocket League, which I totally could have done, or
yeah,
jumping onto this or that, I was going to play a game from 1988 while waiting for Steve to join the Zoom meeting.
Yeah. And I mean,
and you know what? I was going to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's
at 320 by 200 resolution on my 1440p 144 screen.
It's a perfect personification of the dichotomy between console gaming and PC gaming.
Yep.
Not only were you demonstrating that you could do something like that, you could play a game from a long time ago, and it should obviously, but it also demonstrates that there's incompatibilities and there's some problems. But it also demonstrates that you could fix those problems yourself. You don't have to send your console into Microsoft or Sony or anything to fix it for you. You could do that yourself. So that story kind of perfectly personifies the whole dichotomy between the whole thing. Yes, I can sit there and play Rocket League for 5 minutes or whatever, but hey. Gaming is like whiskey. Enjoy it how you want.
Yep.
That's right.
Skull says, I'm biting my tongue so hard right now. Jeff and his built-in Vizio speakers. It's not that I don't appreciate my soundbar. It's I enjoy the convenience of being able to control my TV and my sound with one remote.
Yeah.
More than I appreciate the better sound quality out of the soundbar.
I really do appreciate because once I've
experienced,
it's a
sliding scale. Do you understand?
Don't get me wrong with my sound analogy and the console versus PC analogy. I do appreciate a much better sound system. I really do. I just don't want to pour that kind of money into it. If I could, I would. Yeah. I just it's not my priority right now.
Someone said Jeff needs a refill. No, I'm good. I'm feeling really good right now.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Hey now, Skull, don't kink shame craft computing. Oh, put it down to 96 kilobit.
All the weird kinks we're coming out today.
That's right. We need to get into the last story. Now, normally I'd cut off the last one because we're 15 minutes over, but we got to talk about this one.
This one is
holy crap,
pretty hilarious. This one is I'll let you explain it because I just kind of skimmed this article before the show. You read the whole thing, so I'm going to let you get into it.
I did.
But it is really good.
So it's the most bizarre and twisted eBay dispute of all time.
Yeah.
I'll preface it with that 6 eBay employees have been fired, and a couple of them were kind of high up in the company, over a cyber stalking complaint and abuse of power and whatever else you want to call it, aimed at a journalist who wrote an article that was less than, glowing about eBay.
They didn't like eBay, basically.
They didn't like eBay. They wrote an article about it. 6 eBay employees retaliated against this journalist with various means. We'll start with that. Okay? So, I'm just going to start reading verbatim the Engadget article because it's gold. A handful of high-ranking former eBay staff allegedly carry out a bizarre cyberstalking campaign that involves sending preserved fetal pig, bloody pig Halloween mask, a funeral wreath, book on surviving the loss of a spouse, and pornography to a couple who ran a newsletter that eBay viewed as critical of the company. End quote. Today, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Massachusetts charged 6 former staff with conspiracy to commit cyberstalking and conspiracy to tamper with witnesses. Those staff members include a former senior director of safety and security, former director of global resiliency, former manager of eBay's Global Intelligence Center, and a former senior manager of special operations and a former contractor. So that's 5 out of 6 that have relevant enough positions to list in the article.
Yeah.
Not just 6 former eBay employees, 4 high-ranking officials and a former contractor. And then 1 random dude who carried some of this out. To continue the article, According to the Department of Justice in 2019, after a newsletter published an article about litigation involving eBay, executive leadership sent messages that it was to take down the newsletter's article, that it was time to take down the newsletter's editor. That kicked off a 3-part harassment campaign. First, the former employees began sending ominous items to the newsletter editor and her husband, who served as publisher. They also sent porn addressed to the editor's neighboring homes, allegedly harassing the couple on Twitter and planned to dox them in real life. I added in real life, but dox them means dox them. According to the Department of Justice, a few of the former employees registered for a software development conference in Boston and then drove to the victims' homes nearby in Natick, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
They allegedly intended to break into the victim's garage and install a GPS tracking device on their car, but the victims noticed the surveillance and notified the Natick police. The eBay employees allegedly tried to interfere with the investigation that followed.
It's this complete...
Like I said!
Okay. I don't know what article they're talking about that was negative to eBay. eBay is a billion-million-dollar industry that everybody uses.
Yeah.
One negative person is probably not going to do anything to that. Why they would go to these lengths? I don't know. Was it a personal insult to some of these people? I have no idea.
I have no idea because
the
original article is not even linked in this article.
And
from the sound of this article, it was a newsletter.
Yes.
Like it wasn't even like a major publication. It was some woman and her husband who published a newsletter out of their garage.
I do really like about the harassers. This is the subtle thing I like. The book on
like how even my mods are commenting what the literal shit.
I know. The book on surviving the loss of your spouse. I kind of like that one. That one's kind of like a subtle jab. I'm gonna take that one. I'm gonna maybe write a book that says so your wife cheated on you or something like that, and then just somebody don't like,
Right.
It's so hey, you know what?
Right.
So your wife's banging me. So what? Here's the book about it.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of funny.
So, to continue the article, and again, I just have to read this verbatim because it is so bizarre.
It's so bizarre.
I can't sum up the words to summarize it properly. Mm-hmm. So continuing here. In a statement published today, eBay said it was notified by law enforcement of suspicious behavior in August 2019 and began its own investigation. By September 2019, it terminated all involved employees, including its former chief communications officer. eBay's former CEO, Devin Wang, left the company that same month.
Okay.
I know. The internal investigation found that while Mr. Wang's communication were inappropriate, there was no evidence that he knew in advance about or authorized the actions that were later directed towards the blogger and her husband, eBay said. However, as the company previously announced, there were a number of considerations leading to his departure from the company. End quote from eBay. The charges would be significant if they incriminated a group of rogue mid-level staffers, but the fact that the cyberstalking harassment was allegedly carried out by senior-level staff make the charges that much more disturbing. Quote, eBay does not tolerate this kind of behavior, the company said in its statement. eBay apologizes to the affected individuals and is sorry that they were subjected to this.
You know what that shows is that eBay has a bunch of high-up management that got nothing better to do than harass people.
Schedule themselves for a software conference in Boston, drive to Natick. By the way, Natick apparently, not Natick. Natick. Drive to Natick, Massachusetts, break into these people's houses, plant GPS devices on their cars, lie to police, interfere with an investigation, send them porn. Oh, and by the way, another article was quoted as sending them spiders, jars of spiders.
Yeah. It just boggles my mind.
I have never read something more bizarre involving someone so high up in a company, let alone 6 someones.
Well, that's the thing. It's someone low end probably does not care enough about the company to want to do something like this. And then someone high up felt personally slighted enough to want to do this. I don't understand it. It kind of makes me want to think that I kind of want to read what these people wrote about eBay to kind of figure out what triggered the whole thing, because maybe they personally insulted this guy. I don't know. Again,
there's no linked article here.
I know. That's what
And because there's no linked article to the original,
I have no idea what
blogger
happened.
post, this can't be very big.
Yeah.
And the fact that 6 people went out of their way and went through this much effort to dox these people, to send their neighbors pornography on their behalf.
Oh, I know. Yes. I know.
To send them jars of spiders and fetal pigs.
Jars of spiders.
Like I said, I have to talk about this now because
that's the thing. It's like, how did they get those jars of spiders? Did they go out and collect the spiders themselves, or is they
I know send your enemies glitter is a thing.
Is there
Where's
a jar?
Send your enemies jars of spiders?
Is there a jar of spiders service?
I guess you can find it on eBay.
Can I? Yeah. There we go. Let me go look on eBay.
It's on eBay. You remember that old commercial?
Jars of spiders.
The ballroom singer.
Apparently you nope. SPIDERS spiders. No.
Scotty says, "Wait, you can mail jars of spiders but not beer?" Now I'm really confused.
Well, there's like fake spiders in a jar on eBay, but I don't see any live spiders.
Yeah, so apparently they found a way to send live spiders through the mail.
Okay. I can't imagine that they'd actually be
and they
alive by
had
the time
that
they
kind
got
of
there.
time.
I don't know.
Is a jar of spiders a checkbox at the post office?
I think it is. You have to declare.
I don't remember that on the customs form, but it might be on the domestic.
It's not. Wait. It's not spiders. I think it's grasshoppers. It's like the locust mail. They don't want you to send that.
Yeah. John says I've got to have that Boston accent to say Natick.
Natick.
Yeah.
Chatta. Natick.
I do have a friend, Polly, who is about as Boston as you will ever get. So I understand the Boston accent, but I can't recreate it.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say Natick, and you all can suck it.
Naked.
Yep.
Naked.
So apparently Civil found a listing for 2 small baby jumping spiders, unsexed, good for educational in kids, or live bait for $13.99 with $6.99 shipping.
Oh. Well, good job, Civil bro. He immediately put a bid on that after he found it. It's like $13.99 for 2 jumping spiders. Sold.
Right. I remember when I was a kid, you could buy a prank, which was rattlesnake eggs, and they came in like a manila envelope.
Oh yes, okay, I remember that's the whole thing.
The paper clip with the washer and the rubber bands.
Yeah, the washer and the rubber bands. Yes, I remember.
And you'd open the package and go.
Yeah, and go. I remember those as a kid, and when I first saw that as a kid, that freaked the heck out of me.
Oh, it did.
And then like 30 seconds later, I'm like, "That's genius.
You sons of."
That's genius. As a 10-year-old kid, I'm like, oh my god, there's some brilliant people out there.
Wait, there's more. Ex-eBay workers sent critics live roaches and a bag of a bloody pig face.
Wow.
According to the New York Times.
Wow, there are some addictive people working at eBay.
What did they say? I want to know what the original article said.
I that's what I want to know too, is like what cued them to want to do this. There must be something.
I don't know, but I am so curious.
Yeah. Oh my god. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I really want to know.
Let's see. Found by Alan, 1 big fat jumping spider, also unsexed, good for educational and kids or live bait. $39.99 with $10 shipping.
What? Really? You mean I could be peeling these things off my car every morning for $39.99?
Apparently, because there's dozens of them around here.
Those spiders are all over the place around here.
Yeah. Oh, and if you need any pill bugs or some of those...
Yeah, pill bugs, we got those all over here too.
Yeah. Man. So yeah, that is one of the weirdest stories I've ever read in my life.
Truly bizarre. Very entertaining, though. I would love to see the original.
Like, why did that not take place in Jacksonville, Florida? Why was that Boston? Because that sounds like a Florida man story.
It does. But to be fair, it could be someone who migrated from Florida to Boston. We don't know.
Yeah. One hell of an unboxing video for Bite My Bits.
That's
Ooh,
true.
there's a good unboxing video. Live spiders.
Yeah.
No one tell him.
Yes.
Anyway.
All right.
That's a show.
That is a show. That was a good ending. I really enjoyed that.
That was.
All right.
That has been episode 137 here on Talking Heads, your once-weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time right here on Craft Computing. Make sure to like this video if you liked it and hit that subscribe button on your way down there. Leave a comment down below. Thank you all for chatting. Thank you for the super chats.
Yeah, we didn't get to any of the super chats today, which we didn't get too many of them, but
we only got 3.
Okay.
We did Record Needle, and I read Big Spoons. Do some Big Spoon full of sugar. And John actually had one later on at 10 o'clock that said "Baboom," and I don't know what that was in reference to.
I don't know what that was reference to either.
But it was a $2 super chat, and John, I super appreciate it. Oh, and then he says $5. Good night. Good night, John.
Okay, good night. Good night.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
But yeah, let's see what else. Follow me on Twitter at Craft Computing. You can't follow Steve because he's a creature of the night.
Yeah, I'll eventually do something, I guess.
He has a Twitter handle, but I'm not telling you.
Yeah, thank you.
By the way, for those who don't know the inside joke, every single episode of Talking Heads that Steve is on, I have a different explanation for where you can follow Steve.
You can follow me on Steam, though, if you want to be my friend on Steam.
Yeah, what did I say tonight? I don't remember. Follow Steve. Follow Jeff on Twitter at Craft Computing. Follow Steve Into the Void.
Into the Void. There you go, yeah.
Yeah. I think last time was on a horse with no name.
Well,
it's different every week.
Let's keep the joke going.
Yeah, that's right. So it's fun.
Yeah.
If you really want to chat with him, join the Patreon. Link down in the video description below, and get on the Discord. Seriously, it's a freaking awesome place.
Yep.
All of a sudden, the super chats coming in like mad. Reverend, $2. Cheers. Here, more super chat. The D, $5 Canadian, which is like $2 American anymore. Cheers. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Novella, $2. Here is more shill. Thank you.
Nice.
I don't know what I'm shilling, but I appreciate it.
That's good shill.
But anyway, seriously, join the Patreon down in the video description. Like I said, really does help me keep the lights on around here, keeps content coming to you every single week, and as a consolation prize or a bonus, you get to talk to me. Apparently people like to do that. But thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, we'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Later on.